Hey, this is We Can't Code, episode 11. We Can't Code,
Woohoo!
so we criticize. This is a weekly video game podcast between two friends. My name is Ben,
My name is Michael.
and
I also go by Mike.
he goes by many names. But this is a podcast about video games specifically, but also sometimes we dip into like movies and other, I guess like techie stuff. But yeah,
We can talk about everything.
everything and nothing. Pretty,
Basically.
more or less nothing.
I like that. Everything and nothing. More or less nothing. That should be the honest and the bomb quote.
We can't code, so we criticize about nothing. Why am I listening to you guys? No.
It's a very good question.
How? Why
We
am
do
I
not
even
know.
recording this? No.
Oh shit, we're supposed to be recording? I was
Yeah,
joking.
right. No, okay, so today is actually Monday. We normally record on Sundays, but Mike and I kind of fucked up. We just got busy schedules this weekend.
Well, we didn't fuck up. Work kicked my butt over the weekend when it wasn't supposed to. And then Ben got his butt kicked today. So we're both kind of tired a bit. Well, so that's why we're doing it late today as well.
Tis
But
the season.
we're still full of energy.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited for this podcast.
Listen to this here. I don't know if that was loud enough. I just opened up a nice Coca-Cola to keep myself energized because
finished
I'm
off my
fucking
beer.
tired right now.
Yeah, I was working Sunday and I was doing a 12-hour shift, and it was already 9 o'clock, and I was like, fuck it, and I pounded down 2 cans of Mountain Dew, and I haven't drank soda in a long ass time, and man, that woke my butt up.
Hey,
I was
Mikey,
like, holy,
are you listening?
yeah.
Listen closer. Yep.
I love to compete with that, but I gave up all my burps before the podcast, and I'm out of root beer. I'm very sad now.
I don't normally drink soda. For a second there, I thought I was going to throw up on my mic. I was like trying to force it too much. I was like, ugh!
Oh my god, if you actually threw up on your mic, that mic would be just destroyed. It would be sad, but very funny at the same time, too.
Oh my god, I'd kill myself. I wouldn't. That might be a slight exaggeration.
Yeah, but still, I'd be like, what do you do after you just throw up on a mic? Because I'm looking at mine. I just bought a new one over on Black Friday.
Mike, the
And,
show must go on.
And there's just so many crevices for puke to get stuck in it. And I'm like, oh god, if anything happened to that, it'd just be brutal.
Alright, so, Mike, how was your week here?
My week was pretty good. I mean, well, all
Aside
right, so I
from
take
being
that back.
busy.
Yeah, I was pretty busy, but yeah, it just kind of sucked. So I was tired most of the time. Game wise, I've been just playing Cuphead. I finally beat the Dragon Boss, by the way.
Nice.
I beat the Dragon Boss yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago. Yeah, I beat him, and then I beat the B boss today. Honestly, the B boss is super easy. The only thing that's annoying about her is that you need the homing shots to kill her when she turns to plane mode. That's the only thing. Like, every other stage she has is super easy. It's just her last stage because she stays under you, and and you have to constantly be jumping up, and it's super annoying it's like so hard to aim down and shoot. So like the only weapon you can get to kill her is the homing shot.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get the homing shot, she dies in 2 seconds in the play mode. It's just stupid. I'm like, really? I mean, given though the game is very fair though, because what I realized with it is that after you beat her second stage, all the damage that you do to her before she turns into the plane still counts as the plane mode. And I use the shotgun too, and I just waste her. She's all of her animations are really slow, and she's freaking easy to hit too. So it's every single time she's in the play mode, she has no health at all, but I just can never hit her until I switch to the homing shot, and then she died instantly.
Yeah, I definitely had trouble with her myself, but it's good that you didn't.
No, yeah, I felt pretty good. So I'm going to try working on the next one. I'm going to try to probably work on is the pirate boss. He seems alright, but I can tell it near his last stage is going to be really fucking annoying. Just with I'm guessing I haven't seen it yet, but I'm guessing all of his creatures come at you at the same time. Then
Yeah, he just cycles faster.
yeah, that's because it's easy at first, but then when that cycle kicks up in the second, I'm like, oh my god. So it's gonna be fun trying to learning the just how to learn the pattern of everything with that one. But besides Cuphead, though, I did actually give a game that I had for a while that I wanted to try. It was called Heavy Bullet, and that game is just basically it's a roguelike game, and it's where you have just revolver, and you just keep on going through and the level is randomly generated. You just get into the next level and the next level. And what's kind of interesting about it is that once you shoot your revolver, you lose the bullet, but you can always pick up the bullet, and that's why it's called like Heavy Bullet, I guess, or something like that. But I hate the game. It's bad. I don't like it. It looks ugly. You know, it's like one of those typical indie games kind of looks, but it just doesn't look good. It just looks like an unfinished game. It handles poorly. It doesn't run well on my computer either, and I just don't like it. There's like the concept is interesting, but it's not fun to play it. Honestly,
that kind of
really
sucks
not.
to hear. I was really interested to play Heavy Bullets at some point.
It's like, I only gave it maybe 5 minutes of my time, but even that 5 minutes, I was like, this is just stupid. At least like you already have it, which is nice. I mean, we got it in the Humble Bundle thing, and so I mean, give it a shot if you want, but I can tell you this much: you're probably not gonna like it. There's so many other games that are like it that are way better. But so like those are the two games I played. But another thing I've been doing has been actually watching television series, like ones that are like long series, like The Walking Dead and stuff, like Walking Dead and those other, what do you call those? Like their House of Cards. Like what would you call those type of shows? And like Game of Thrones.
Like a drama.
Yeah, I guess they're like their dramas. And so my girlfriend is like, we decided to start watching a bunch of these shows together. And the ones that we watched so far are really good. Like the first one we watched was called Godless. I don't know if you've ever heard of that show.
No, I'm gonna look it up.
It's on Netflix, and it's a Western, and it actually is just like a spaghetti Western movie, except it's in episodes.
Describe what you mean by spaghetti Western.
Spaghetti Western is just basically the common story of the cowboy who comes into town and as soon as he shows up, he's usually the good guy, but he always brings trouble with him in the end. You know, it's just that typical cowboy stories. That's what spaghetti Westerns are. Oh. At least to me.
This is funny. My roommates were just watching this today, and
I think Lauren probably told them about it.
Huh. How many seasons are there? I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
I think it's just one. I think it feels like it's just only one season because we finished it, and it's short, which is nice. It's not long, and it was really good though. I actually really enjoyed it, and the characters were great. The acting was wonderful, and like once again, it ended, which I loved about it too. It just didn't go on after like 9 freaking seasons.
Yeah, 7 episodes.
I think it's only there's only one season, and it seems like it ends like there's not going to be a continuation of the story either, which I'm glad about. Because I hate American television shows for that reason, because they just never end. They just like keep on going and going and going. And but if you guys are that listen like television shows, definitely give Godless a watch, because I usually hate them, but this one was actually really good.
Do you like TV? You'll love this show.
Well, I mean, like, I never watch TV anymore. All I watch are really YouTube channels now. So it's been kind of interesting getting back into television shows again.
Yeah.
And it's on Netflix too, which is nice. Another one that the next one we started up is called Penny Dreadful. And there's a lot of good actors in that one. Like, they have Josh Hartnett in it, Timothy Dalton. They even got where is he at? I forgot his name. Even David Warner as well. It has a lot of good actors, and they even have Eva Green, the girl who played it Bond's like first love in Casino Royale, and then like the wife in 300. She's super good in this show, by the way. And the best description I can give this show is like, Ben, you ever seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Best movie ever.
It's like that, but without the it has like all the mythical people in it, but without all the super high tech part of it.
All right.
It's set in like when London's just hit the industrial age, you know? It's super good.
All right, I'm gonna refrain from looking it up here too much. I was looking at Netflix when you were talking, and it started to like we're recording this over Skype, and it picks up all audio that my computer plays. So everyone that was listening to you talk got a moment of like some trailer for a second. I was like, oh shit, this is showing up on the podcast now, I guess.
See, like, Netflix is doing that now. Yeah, like, Netflix is out-of-place trailers now, which I think is really funny.
It's annoying, man.
Yeah.
I just want to watch Futurama. I don't want to see your stupid shit.
But yeah, so we're
Penny
watching...
Dreadful. So it's I'm just looking up the Wikipedia page now.
Yeah, go for it.
British American horror drama television series. That's a good introduction. Television series created by Showtime. All right, let's skip ahead. No one cares about that. Title refers to the Penny Dreadfuls, a type of 19th century British fiction publication with lurid and sensational subject matter. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sex scene in it, but it's not bad. Like, it's not over the top.
Yeah, so there's public domain characters from 19th century British and Irish Gothic fiction.
Yep. I mean, you'll know every single one that you see in it. It says that, and you think you won't know them, but you'll know every single one of them when you see them.
Yeah, there's so Van Helsing is in here.
Yeah,
Frankenstein, Dracula. There's also there's this guy named I haven't heard of this, so maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but Dr. Seward. Which I was just reading over the names and I thought it said Dr. Seuss, and I was like, "Oh fuck you!"
We haven't seen. He hasn't come up yet in our episode yet. I think we're in the 6th episode in. It's 3 seasons long.
Okay.
But so far it's really good. The acting is great. Like Evan Green, like I said, the woman from that plays Bond's like first love in Casino Royale and the wife of the Spartan in 300.
Yeah.
She is like. There's this one episode of her background story. Oh my god, she is just so good in it. Her acting is freaking amazing in that cool. In that episode.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember all that she's in. I haven't seen 300 in a while.
Yeah, she's also like she hasn't been like let's see.
I'm looking at her stuff here.
Dreamers, Miss Preener's like she's been in a lot of stuff I haven't seen, but she's been in Sin City, and that's it. Like she's been into other movies too as well, but none of them that I've seen. And I also love Josh Hartnett. He's like one of my favorite actors. Every single time he's in a movie, I just love the character he plays. It's usually the same character, but his just dialogue in the movie is so good, and I just like his character. He really sells his character and all that stuff. And every single time. I don't know. I just like his character is so well made together.
Oh,
just
shit.
For Josh.
That's the guy from 40 Days and 40 Nights, the guy that wouldn't jacket for Easter.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a movie called 40 Days and 40 Nights, and it stars Josh Hartnett, and it's about a guy that goes celibate for Easter.
Oh yeah. He was also in Lucky Number 11 and 30 Days of Night. He's really good in 30 Days of Night.
Lucky Number 11's like one of my favorite movies, but I can't help but look at him now and be like, that's the guy that won't check it. You know?
I never realized that they did that movie.
Man, I love Wikipedia. As you're talking, I can just look everything up.
I know,
nice.
Right? It's so nice.
Why don't I do this more often when we're talking?
And like you just click like, oh yeah, what movies have they been in? Oh, right under it says, see all the movies they've been in. Oh, cool. It's great.
Oh man.
And but yeah, like all the acting in it is just fantastic. The story is good. The characters are great. The sets and all the design in the whole show is wonderful too. It's just so well done.
Yeah, I've always heard people talking about it, so that's good to hear.
I never heard about it until like Lauren bring it up, and I'm like, all right, let's give it a go. You know, Godless was good, and so if you say this is gonna be good too, might as well give it a shot. And the problem I had with the show is that it's very confusing, and it's very confusing. It takes I think like 3 episodes in for you to get like actually understand what's going on, like the full story. And what I enjoyed about Godless though, the full story starts confusing in the first episode, but everything is understood at the end of the episode, which is so nice.
Oh, that's cool.
And I guess it makes a lot more sense though because Godless is only one season. So, but it's like Godless is just a very well compact story, and when it's done, you're satisfied. You don't really need to know anything else. You don't want anything else out of it. It's just a really solid one, and it's a very quick watch, which is nice. And Penny Dreadful is longer, but they're doing a really good job now. And I can't say like anything else about it because I'm just enjoying it. And I can't wait to see other mythical people come into the show and all that stuff. I've also I wanted to bring it up. I forgot to last week. Like the last podcast, I was just out of it myself again, and so I forgot to talk about these things. But last week I watched the Lego Batman movie and the Lego movie.
Have you never seen those before?
I never seen those before. That was actually the first time I seen them.
Oh, baby.
The Lego movie was good, but Lego Batman movie was way better. I just really enjoyed watching Lego Batman movie.
Yeah. They really got the formula down. The Lego movie was cool just to see how everything worked and how they actually made a movie out of Legos. And then the Lego Batman movie, the humor was just on point all the time.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Although
we saw Lego Batman first, and it was kind of funny because everyone was saying pew 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 when they were shooting, and then when we switched over to Lego movie, no one was saying pew. We're like, aw, they're not saying pew when they shoot. We were so sad. And man, the Lego movie was kind of super serious at the same time.
Yeah,
it was kind of a very dark undertone to it.
It had I liked I don't know. I was gonna say I liked the Lego movie's ending more than I liked the Lego Batman movie's ending, but Lego Batman movie just had so much action in it. I don't know if I can even say that. But the one thing that the Lego movie does have over the Lego Batman movie is the scene when they go into the Wild West land and they're like, just act normal. And the guy's like, I'm a normal guy. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. And they're like, nope, just be a chair. And he's like, I'm a chair. Come and sit on me.
I forgot about that.
Which was probably one of the, I don't know. When I went to go see the Lego movie, as I'm sure every other person in their mid-20s did, you were surrounded by a bunch of kids. And a lot of the jokes you just kind of snicker and smile at, but that joke where he's like, I'm a chair, come and sit on me. I was the loudest laughing guy in the theater. I was like, oh my god. So, I'm sure that the script is just half filled with blanks, so that who's the actor? So that Chris Pratt, they're just and then you say this, and then Chris Pratt just kind of says whatever he decides to say, and then the script continue. I'm sure that they were just be quiet, just act like a chair, and he's like, well. And then, in his line, it just says, Chris Pratt acts like a chair. And he's like, I'm a chair.
I forgot about that, too. That's, that was a really good one.
Yeah. No, I
do agree, though. The ending in the Lego movie had a deep meaning to it. And it was a nice meaning. It wasn't, I didn't think it was overly cheesy like that. That was a very sweet ending to it. Lego Batman movie was just a basic ending to another movie, but Lego Batman was still a great movie. I enjoyed it so much.
Definitely.
Those were really my weeks, though. What about you?
Some more movies, huh? Actually, the one saving grace of doing this on Monday is yesterday I saw Coco. I may as well start with movies. So Coco's the new Pixar film. It follows the Mexican kid who travels to the land of the dead on Dia de los Muertos.
Oh yeah, the rehash of the other movie that was animated the same exact style and about the exact same theme of the story too.
Oh, are you talking about the Book of Life?
Yeah, the Book of Life, exactly. It was I saw the chair for. I'm sorry to interrupt. When I saw the chair of Coco, I was like, "This is exactly the same movie. There's nothing different." At all.
I mean, I never saw the Book of Life, so I can't say that you're wrong, but I'm gonna say that Coco was fantastic.
No, it looked good. You would like the Book of Life then, trust me.
Yeah, I remember you and I were maybe gonna see it, and I was like, I was against it, and then once I
ended up watching it somewhere. I think I just watched it on television. It was really good though.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Well, I remember
You
once
liked
I
it
saw
too.
that Channing Tatum was the main voice actor. I was like, oh, what have I've made a huge mistake.
So you liked Coco though?
Yeah, it was really, really good. It's crazy how good that they're getting with Pixar animation too. Like they they do this thing at the beginning of the movie where they have like a live action, like it's the developers and the
Oh,
creators
that's
at Pixar, and they're being like, hey, this is our movie. We really hope you like it. Like this one scene took us 6 months to make, and like initially it sounds kind of like I don't know. It felt like they're trying too hard to be like, enjoy what we're showing you and stuff.
Yeah.
It felt kind of pushy, but I mean, as the movie continued, there are some things that you kind of take for granted. I mean, like the kids running across like the Pueblo style houses, and they have the tile roof and whatnot, and like as the kid walks across the roof, like each individual tile moves, and then like he's walking across like this bridge made of flowers, and like and it's flower petals, so they're like really tiny, but each petal moves and kind of flutters in the wind, and you think to yourself like, how impossible would it have been to just animate a single petal fluttering in the air, and here's like millions of them on screen. Like it does kind of get to you, like, wow, they spent so much time on this movie.
I think though it's like they did their job well when you don't realize that, because when you just get involved in the world, then that's when they actually did a good job, when you just don't even realize it in the end.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. The one thing that I didn't like about the movie wasn't even the movie. It was the fact that Pixar does animated shorts between all their movies, but for some reason they decided to do a 20-minute short of Frozen, like the movie that already came out, Frozen, and they did what's called like Olaf's Surprise Christmas or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was on. I saw that Netflix has like Disney, like they have like a Disney short pack thing when they have all those things put into one thing.
Well, this is like a brand new one.
Movie?
This is a brand new thing. So
it was Olaf's surprise birthday party. Okay.
No, it's not a birthday party. It's like a surprise Christmas. But it was 20 minutes long, and typically these things are like
5 minutes or 10 minutes tops.
Yeah, I mean, I know that this is probably like everyone I've talked to, their favorite one is Paper Man, which I really like too. Nothing wrong with that. But
is that the one when he's throwing envelopes out the window to get the girl's attention?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But like that was original. It was sweet. Like you didn't have to understand. It was like in its own thing, which is awesome.
Yeah, because there was no one said anything in it at all. There was no words. It was only just visuals, which was nice.
Yeah, and like I saw the movie Frozen, and I'm gonna say, I mean, obviously I didn't like it. If you can't tell from my attitude already,
I didn't see it. It didn't really get my attention.
Yeah, well, it's frustrating that like, okay, so Coco is Pixar, and I'm still burping from my Coke.
I'm still burping, actually. I've been burping a while now as well, like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, but
I have no idea.
So Frozen is Pixar. I'm sorry, no. Coco is Pixar, and Frozen is Disney. And so it just felt like Disney was like, hey, remember this film that everyone likes? And Pixar's like, yeah, I guess so. Well, we made this new film, and Disney's like, that's great. Here's what you're gonna do instead of those cute little short animated films that they do each time. And they're like, Frozen, this idea is already done. And Disney comes back in, they're like, that's great, good to hear the enthusiasm. By the way, it's 20 minutes long.
It's how could they make it 20 minutes long? Like in a movie, you're watching it already. People are sitting for a movie. You're putting a 20-minute thing in.
The best part about it was as we were watching it, this kid was in front of us, and he was like, is this the movie? Like he kept repeating that over and over as we were watching the Frozen short. And then as it ended, the credits were rolling for the Frozen short, and it was like kind of quiet in between the credits ending and the actual movie starting up. And he just says, nobody asked for that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But long story short, Coco was great. You just have to, like, when the movie says that it's at 7 o'clock, get the ticket, go to like the mall or go get some Taco Bell or something, and then when it hits like 7:30, then go into the movie because then you'll miss the Frozen short and you'll be good.
It's so funny.
The other movie that I wanted to see was The Disaster Artist, but I'm not willing enough to say the specific town I'm from online, but I will say that I live in a smaller town, and they don't have The Disaster Artist in this area, Mike.
Oh, they're not playing in our area?
Yeah, I would say before you get back to hometown here, you should definitely check it out if you see it somewhere else, like in the theaters around you. Yeah, because that one looked awesome. Disaster Artist. Our last podcast, I talk about it for a bit.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to repeat myself, but if you live in like a larger area, go check out Disaster Artist. Okay, now on to my games. So I played more Diablo 3. I was kind of stuck on if I wanted to keep...
I want to play it again. I've been wanting just to get to like, what's that high level
70
called again? Like 70? I always do is like in League of Legends, I never reached the rank level. I never reached the same thing with like Diablo 3. I need to do that at least once. Which one did you level up this time with Diablo 3?
I'm still doing Crusader, so it's not about the leveling, it's about the after game. So I'm at Paragon level 260, I think now, which it goes up to an infinite amount. So like that's a couple more hours in, but realistically that's not like a huge amount of investment. I'd probably put like 10 hours into the game total now.
Oh, nice.
So my Crusader,
wait, is that in total, like, overall, or just total when you reinstall the game?
Total, like, since I started talking about it on the podcast here, and since everyone joined.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's good at least, because you got at least more money out of it.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm playing as a Crusader class, and I'm leveling him up. Mike, I'll have to show you this if you're unfamiliar with it, but each season you get certain objectives to complete, and as you complete them, then you get your full set of like official armor. So like the last week I was talking about how I got my full set of armor and I was just wrecking, just destroying everything. I've been slowly like building up my guy more and more. I've got 3 different sets of armor that I'm like one piece away from the full sets.
Oh, nice.
So, like, I'm really fucking close. One is Set of the Invoker, which makes me do, like, thorn damage. So anyone around me, they just, like... Everyone around me just gets hurt just for standing in proximity to me. And I love thorn builds, because all you do is just walk into a room and have, like, as much protection as you possibly can, and then everything kills itself.
See, I want to see, before I start playing Diablo 3, I'm going to reach to the high level with the Witch Doctor. I want to see his full set of armor.
Yeah. And
that's my main goal.
Honestly, just hitting level 72, like, that's not even late game. That's, like, mid-game if I had to give it a specific title. Like, because you're... If you hit level 70, you're, like, not even in Torment level 1. And you can go up to Torment level 13.
Yeah, I would like to get up to the highest point. So, I mean, if you want to keep on going, you want it for a reason, let's, like, set some time aside and just, like, let's just level me up. Like, together, though. Not like the last time we played together where I just get one hit and die instantly.
Well, okay, now that my Crusader's a lot better, and I do hammer. So, like, pretty much I have, like, a tornado of hammers that come out of me.
Yeah, it's freaking insane.
Like, they do so much damage now, Mike, that if you just stood around close to me, like, you should be good. I power leveled up everyone else.
The problem is, though, is just that the small ones that get through, if they just touch me, I die instantly.
Either way...
That's the problem.
Either way, you can stand, like, across the map and still get leveled up.
Plus, that's not fun then for me either. Just be straight up, it's just not that fun then. Like, I'm totally down for leveling up, but I at least want to do some things to help it level up.
All right. Well, I don't know. You want me to power level you, but you want to have fun too.
You get another character that's level the same one. I think you still have the one that had at the same level when we were playing with Sam, right?
Yeah, I can look into it.
Yeah. Let's see if we can bring him back in, and then we'll just raise him up, then we'll raise my woodchucker up too. That'd be fun. We'll try to get the group back together or something like that to do more level raising.
We're getting the band back together. All right. So that's Diablo 3. And then something else that I played this week, which was interesting to say the least, definitely out of my comfort zone. I mean, not that playing a game outside of your comfort zone is like a huge like infraction or anything, but I played Animal Crossing Pocket Edition. So
you actually got that. I was worried you were going to get that in the end.
Yeah, so I don't listen to too many podcasts, which is funny enough for having a podcast. But I was like, oh, let's see what else is out there. And it's crazy. People talk about the same shit that we do. For a while, I thought that we were unique, but everyone does like their...
No, we're not.
Everyone does the same, like, oh, how was your week? How was your week? So, like, I got into it, and it's weird. I like, listening... This guy was saying Animal Crossing Pocket Edition was decent. He wasn't giving it glowing reviews. But after hearing about it, I was like, I need to play Animal Crossing Pocket Edition. Like, I wonder if we have the same effect on people, where, like, we talk about fucking Diablo enough, and someone's like, I need to pick up this 7-year-old game or something, you know?
You know, it's like, I hope so. I like to know that maybe we show some people, like, a good game that they wouldn't notice at first. That's why I want...
We'll just have
That's why I wanted...
Sorry, go.
What?
Go for it.
No, No, you go.
Alright, I was gonna say, we should just start, like, subtly hinting towards games that we think are shit, but if we mention them enough, people might accidentally buy them. Go play Forced. Go play Forced on Steam. Go buy it. It's the best game ever.
Go play Heavy Bullets. Heavy Bullets is 10 out of 10 game that just... You'll have so much fun out of it.
It's pretty much like World of Warcraft.
It's like playing Call of Duty, but better.
Alright, done with my sodas. So, Animal Crossing Pocket Edition. The premise of the game is you own a camp site, and you go around and people, they like come and go in your camp, and you... If you've ever played Animal Crossing, it's just like collecting furniture and stuff. So in this, to get more furniture, you need materials. And to get more materials, people give you materials in exchange for, like, you can go fishing in your camp, and then, like, someone will be like, oh, I want 3 trout. So you go and fish 3 trout, and then you give it to that guy. And he's like, oh, here's some steel, because he's just carrying around raw steel.
So basically, you're just doing a bunch of people's, like, you're doing a bunch of favors for people, and they're repaying you with junk.
Yeah.
They gave you junk for doing shit for them.
Some guy gave me wood, and I'm like, motherfucker, you're chopping down trees in my campsite, you son of a bitch. Like, I gave this guy 3 peaches, and he gave me a bundle of wood, and I'm like, oh, you dirty bastard. And then he moved out the next fucking day. What a piece of shit.
Cuts down your trees. Takes your peaches, cuts down your trees, and just fucking leaves.
Yeah, I'm gonna, like, go back to get some peaches for someone else, and my peach tree's gonna be gone, replaced with a stump. And it's just a note from, like, that dog with a middle finger pointing out.
He's like, hey, I need more peaches. Can you get me some?
Okay, you took my peach tree, you little bitch.
And, like... Wait, and, like, I have a small question, too. Like, when you build your camp, isn't it all just, like, in the open air? So you just put, like, a bunch of furniture just out in the open, right?
You get, like, a grid-based system. What's funny enough is I uninstalled the game, and, I didn't even make a single piece of furniture. All I liked, like... The way that the person hooked me onto trying the game is, 1, obviously, it's free. But 2, he was like, it's kind of cool to just, like, a game to play for, like, 5 or 10 minute intervals. And I was sitting there and I was listening to the podcast and I was like, yeah, actually I could see the appeal in that. Sometimes I don't want to play anything. Sometimes I'm watching a movie and I'm like on my phone. Like, I could see myself like doing, you know, and for a little bit it was a pretty good game for that. Like, I was just like watching Futurama or, you know, whatever, and I was just like, you know, getting peaches or going fishing. It was actually kind of relaxing. But like there was all this incentive to, like, make furniture and do that much more, and I was like, all I want to do is just shake the trees and get peaches, bud. And, but that's not what they built their game around. They built their game around, like, furniture.
Being everyone's bitch. That's what it built around.
Hey,
it's like, hey, can you come over here? It's like, no, I don't want to come over to your place unless you have like a certain type of furniture. It's like, what? Yeah, buy that, so I'll come over.
No, that's exactly what it is. You're laughing, but that's why that's the incentive to do furniture is that you invite you can't
So,
invite the people over until you have the furniture, and then they give you crafting like a huge payload of crafting materials.
so then they ask you to build something. They come over, and then they just dump a load of just trash in your yard.
They just they just
On your
take out a bunch
campsite,
of
sorry.
rebar out of the back seat of their camper and just throw it all over the place. And like, here's some steel or metal or fuck you.
Yeah, we're friends now, I guess.
Never thought about
Thanks
it
for the
that
TV,
way.
bitch. The guy just walks away there with the TV you made, and all you have is a bunch of rebar planted around your freaking campsite.
Do you know
It's
how
like,
long?
okay.
Do you know how long it takes to learn the electrical maneuvering of a tube TV? You son of a bitch. Yeah.
It just like
It's
it just like it doesn't make sense to me. I can I don't know why people like that. Like I can understand I guess Animal Crossing when you're the mayor because then you're building a village. But with that one then you're just putting a bunch of furniture out in the middle of the woods.
yeah, that's what it
And
is.
and it just really because for me it's kind of funny the thing that really bothers me about the whole thing is that you're putting real furniture, not camping furniture, real furniture just out in the middle of the woods
Yeah.
with no cover at all. And it's like like what? No.
Well, so that was in the tutorial they force you to build a piece of furniture, and you build the most like contemporary looking like black and white couch. I mean, it kind of
Yeah.
looks like a futon almost, but it's kind of like that. It looks shitty, but it's like it looks like a fucking IKEA piece of furniture. And so yeah, like it's just sitting on the ground in grass. Like you've got a gridded area for like your
See,
campsite, but it's like you could
yeah.
I don't know.
That bothered me too much, and that's why like I had no interest at all for picking up because like it was just too stupid just to build the furniture in the middle of nowhere. If it was like, hey, you're the park ranger now, or like the park camp leader, whatever it is, design like the headquarters where everyone meets, like design the camp gathering house, and then you put all the furniture in that house where everyone gathers into. That would make more sense to me, and then that would be like, oh, okay, so that's why you want to put the stuff in there, so then people actually be gathering at the campsite, into the into the what's the word they call it, the community area, the community center, like you're building the camp community center.
Yeah, like a
That would
town
make
hall or something.
exactly that would make it 10 times more sense instead of hey, throw furniture out in the middle of the woods, and it will come by and drop trash in front of you. It's like cool.
Honestly, I don't really care too much about that. Like Animal Crossing in
No, yeah.
itself was pretty much the same game.
Oh yeah.
The one difference that made Animal Crossing the game different from Animal Crossing the like even the last couple renditions of Animal Crossing. Like the original GameCube one was great because you could actually get furniture, well, like quote unquote furniture, but you could get Nintendo Entertainment Systems, and they actually
That's cool.
had fully loaded games on them. So if you did good enough at the
No
game,
shit.
yeah, if you did good enough in Animal Crossing, people would give you NES consoles. And I remember playing like Excite Bike. I would play Animal Crossing to play Excite Bike, and it like that was a really cool thing. That was that's an unlockable that I was genuinely interested in replaying. The only other thing I really did in Animal Crossing, like I didn't really give a shit um about furniture or anything. Like the fun thing about Animal Crossing was upgrading your house and finding like those unique collectibles. Like there was fossils, there was fish, there was the NES consoles, but like the designing portion never really caught my interest, and that's all that the
Yeah.
Pocket Edition is. So
So yes, there's no reason for you
and
to
plus,
play it.
yeah, and I mean like the GameCube version, the one that had the NES consoles on it, that was on GameCube before like internet was a huge. Well, not that internet wasn't a big thing, but that before like console to console internet, before like PlayStation Network and Xbox Live were big things.
Yeah.
And so they were more than happy to give away these old crusty games because they were like, who's gonna buy this shit? But now that they've got the internet, like Nintendo Online or whatever their fucking online service is called, like now they can resell all these like 20-year-old games for like $10, and they're like, oh, why the fuck were we giving these games out for free before? Like,
Oh, because we thought you were so cool and nice.
so that's my biggest gripe about it. Is like Animal Crossing came with some really cool shit back in the day. Like you could play these
Yeah.
old awesome games just for free too. Like they just
It would
gave it
give
to
you
you.
like it gave you like a real incentive. Like you got a real prize for doing good in the game, or just playing, not doing good in the game, just playing the game. You got these nice rewards that were
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah, and that's like the same thing. I mean, once again, for anyone that's listened to this podcast, I'm a big fan of Nazi zombies. So is Mike. Like that was a really awesome incentive to beating Call of Duty, is you unlock Nazi zombies. Like that's probably half the reason that hooked us before, is because it was like, oh, we beat Call of Duty. What's this? Oh, Nazi zombies. Let's see what this is. Like it was a reward.
Yeah,
You know, I don't think
that
I would be
was so
half as
cool.
hooked if it just like gave it to us immediately. Um,
That is true. That was a pretty cool surprise.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I think that that's what Animal Crossing Pocket Edition is missing. Is like it just doesn't like anything that's actually going to be worthwhile to someone these days. You gotta fucking pay money for it, and then of
Yeah.
course going along with that, there's microtransactions in the game. So you know what does that tell you?
Yeah. I heard though that you don't ever need to buy, because they say the game just gives it to you all the time. And like people say they've been playing it for a long time now, and then they still have not even needed to pay anything at all. Like the game just gives you that currency like it's nothing. So
Yeah, it does. And so once again, I mean that was only a side comment at the end.
no,
of
yeah,
my
no,
whole
yeah, I
spiel.
know, yeah, no, I'm not holding it against you or anything. I know, I totally agree, and I'm totally bothered too about how like instead of earning stuff now in games, you have to buy them now, and it's like what happened? Just like you said, like what happened to actually just playing like the hardest difficulty and beating it and then getting a reward of like a cool new skin or something like that, or getting 100 headshots and then you get the golden AK-7 or something like that. Now it's just like, oh, you have to buy it, or you have to get the lucky chance of unlocking a loot box to get it nowadays,
Yeah, it
instead of just earning it.
Yeah, I mean anything that's actually valuable to someone, they just offer a monetary, or
Yeah.
like I can't think of the right word. Just a certain amount of Nazi zombies was like a $6 add-on. You know, when we were like 16, 15 years old, we'd look at that and be like, are you kidding me? I'm not going to pay this money for what, like some stupid bonus bullshit, you know? But the fact that it was free was the
Yeah.
fun part.
Oh yeah, it was great. But the other thing too is that you earned it. It was a surprise.
Yeah.
You know.
And so
Yeah,
I,
it
I,
was-
I think Animal Crossing Pocket Edition, it's totally lost why I played Animal Crossing to begin with, I suppose.
Yeah, I never got a chance to play Animal Crossing, but Animal Crossing never really was my cup of tea, anyways, on the type of game to play.
Mm-hmm. All right, we can get into
Anything else though?
No, that
Or
was
no?
it. I'd be happy to get into the top five though, if you are.
Well, yeah, actually it works out pretty well because our top five this time is free to play games. So that was actually kind of a nice little segment from just the Pocket Edition to what we actually enjoyed playing there, free to play. And I came out with this list, and like I didn't fully think of it, and I was like, crap, I think I'll have an issue coming with the list. But as soon as I sat down and started thinking of games, I filled up my list in like about a minute, actually.
Mm.
So you went first last time, so now it's my turn to go first.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm going to be doing, as usual, if you've been listening to us for a while now, we give each of us start with our bottom three, and then we switch off to the next person, and then we give our second, switch to the next person, and then we finally tell our number one.
Yep.
And so my bottom three, and this was actually, all of these were actually close competitors with each other. It was really hard for me to put them in this order. It took me a while to think that out, actually. So my number five is Fallout Shelter. And that is a free-to-play game that it was started as an app, but now you can play it on like your computer and the console. And all it is that you build your own vault system, and then you have you just have survivors live in the vault. And there's just like all these different type of vault rooms that you get, like generators, storage, shelter, food, weaponry, and a bunch of other stuff. And it was the only app I've ever actually downloaded on my phone and played it all the way to the end, where I could no longer add anything more to my Fallout shelter.
Really? I was just gonna ask how
Yeah,
much you actually played that game, because you're normally
I'm
pretty
at
against those phone games.
no, exactly. That's why like I was shocked by it. I was actually really enjoying it. And like you were saying about the Pocket Edition of the Animal Crossing Pocket Edition, it was just one of those nice things where I was just relaxing and I just wanted to fiddle with something but not do anything. So I just pull out the phone, I'll check my survivors, collect the coins and stuff, check out because you also could send survivors out into the wild to get stuff. And so I'm like, all right, how are they doing? I'm like, all right, he's wounded. All right, you come back now. Give me what you got. And you get raided, and so you always have to make sure that your guys are properly equipped. And it was one of the only apps I've actually put money into.
Really?
Because you can buy these the robot butlers that are in Fallout 4 and stuff. You can buy them, and what they do is that they automatically collect from people. So so you didn't even, so basically they played the game for me where I didn't have to go into the game and click on them. It would collect the resources that my people were generating, and you put one in each floor. You can buy one, and he would just scope that one floor then. And so like it was dirt cheap though. Like they were 99. They were $1 each.
Yeah.
So I bought a pack. So I bought the 5-pack, and so the fifth one was free. And it was like I actually put money in it. It was worth it because I maybe got about, I played it for a solid month actually, and for just $5, totally worth it.
Wow.
And it was a lot of fun. It was fun planning out all the rooms, how to be most efficient, how to make it so that if I got raided, that the raiders couldn't just come and just like spread throughout my shelter. They would have to go one way only and just get stuck and just gunned down. And always just finding better equipment, and then you also had relationships in it too in the game. It was a very in-depth app game, and it was just super fun. And it just, but in the end though, it's just an app game for me, so that's why it's on my number 5. I decided.
Yeah, well, so I played that game as well, and it's just interesting to me that you really liked that. Not that I had like a bad experience with it. I'm just surprised. Like it doesn't seem like your type of game.
Either it surprised me too, but I decided, you know what? I'm like, it's free, it's Fallout, and I was super excited for Fallout 4. I'm like, let's give it a go. And it was just one of those things where I'd be just chilling out. I'm like, all right, how are my people doing? They're doing good. It was a very nice app. It was cute.
Yeah.
You know me with cute things. It was nice.
See, as we made this list, I kept telling myself, and this is the reason I got Animal Crossing Pocket Edition, is I kept telling myself, I've got a computer in my pocket all the time.
Yeah.
And there are so many games out there. Like, even though we talk about all the microtransaction freemium bullshit games, like, there's got to be a couple good games out there. And
oh yeah,
I keep telling myself, like, how, I hate to, just because I hate to use the terms like nerd or geek, I'll just consider myself a techie, even though I don't. That term is hardly better.
You're a game enthusiast.
Yeah, but so pretty much like being a game enthusiast, I don't mind that. Like having a computer in my pocket, I was like, okay, like all I do is like go on Reddit essentially.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's got to be more that I can do, like more stuff that I can do entertaining, and like how many apps have ever been made? I mean, there's just awesome stuff out there. So
for me though, it's like when I was raised, like when we like cell phones came out when we were in high school, like we were freshmen high schools, and so I didn't get a cell phone. And smartphones didn't come out until like what we were
no, cell phones,
juniors.
Cell phones came out
cell phones. Yeah, but like when they were when cell phones started becoming actually normal for everyone to have, we were in high school. That's when like everyone was getting cell phones.
Yeah, no one had a grade school iPhone or cell phone.
Yeah. No, yeah, but when I was given that cell phone, it was like I was raised like it is not a toy. It is a tool. It's a tool to help you, and that's it. It's not a toy.
Yeah.
And so that's like when smartphones came out, it's like I don't see like as a computer. I just see a smartphone as a tool. That's why I don't really like putting apps on my phone, because it's like it's not. It's like for me, it's like I said. To me, it's a tool. It's not a toy in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's why I've always just don't like having apps on my phone. And that's why it surprised me too that I even put Fallout Shelter on my phone. But that's why I don't have usually. That's why I actually don't download apps on my phone because once again, it's only just tools that I put on that like light apps or GPS apps, Uber apps, anything that's gonna help me out like banking apps and all that stuff. That's only stuff I download on my phone.
That would make a great news story for us one episode of just like the generations of phone users. I mean, we could go off on a huge tangent here if we wanted to, so I'm gonna tread lightly over this subject. But I mean, yeah, how I use my phone, how you use your phone, and then like how my cousin who's 10 years younger than me uses his phone. Like, wow, what a difference, He's always on his phone. I use mine to like not necessarily check news. I mean, Reddit can or can't be news. I'm not gonna claim myself to be like some intellectual here when I'm like still looking up pictures of cats and shit. But no, like there's definitely like a difference. He uses Snapchat, and it's just like interesting how it may be just a generational thing, maybe just a cultural thing. But
Lauren though, my girlfriend, she uses her phone for really just as a camera. Like she's all over the like Facebook photos, the Snapchat, the Instagram stuff. She's all over that. She uses it like her phone as just as a camera. And like me, I never take photos at all on my phone either, which is funny.
Yeah.
It's like I barely do. Like I try doing it. It's like, but once again, like I said before, I see it as a tool. And a camera, I don't see as a full functioning tool. So it's just like I have a stupid, like I know it's a stupid mindset, but that's how I see my cell phone. So like when I just have like, there was this time like I even like when you were saying like to just look up for like all these games just to that you can download on our phone. Like I did that once, and I was just like looking through all the stuff I can download. But every single time I was gonna download, I'm like, I just can't do it. It's a game, and like I have nothing wrong. Like I love games, we have a whole podcast about games, but to put the idea of to make my phone into a toy or something or into entertainment device is like no. I just can't do it for some reason.
Yeah.
But that's my number 5. That's kind of funny how that just turned out to that whole thing.
No, I like it when we talk more about each individual thing like that. I like small tangents like that. I don't mind that stuff.
No, same. I like it a lot too. I just completely forgot where I was going. I was like, wait, where were we talking about? And I'm like, right, we're down the top 5. So, Fallout Shelter.
It might be worth reapproaching that subject later, though. I might make like a quick side note or something.
I'll be totally down. Yeah, I mean, I'm always like you. Like, I'm also interested too. Like, it always surprises to see what people just like have on their phones. It's like when I see people have like a bunch of apps on their phones, it's like what I see, like it's like that classic thing when you pull up like someone's computer and they just have like 1,000 things on their desktop. I'm like, how do you have all these apps on your desktop? Be organized.
Look at all that porn.
No, that's all in one folder called Michael's Day Out.
Called Statistics or something.
I couldn't think of a boring name. I don't know why I came with Michael's Day Out.
All right, what's your
my
number?
name I came up is Michael's Day Out. Yeah, okay.
What's your number 4?
Number 4, I think this is the game I played with you, Gotham City Imposters. Do you remember that?
I tried it for like half of a second. I don't think we played together.
I played with my brothers then. Okay, so Gotham City Imposters, and I play with my brothers. And basically, that is just a 5-on-5 silly shooter game. And the whole premise of the game is that there is just like these people who are the people who are pretending to be Batman, and there's these people pretending to be Joker, like the clown and Harvey Quinn and all this stuff, and like Batwoman. And so that's the 2 teams. It's the Bat team and the Joker, the Joker team. Sorry,
I thought I heard you say Harvey Quinn for a second. I started laughing.
I think I said that by accident.
What a transgender world we live in.
Yeah.
The Joker's like, oh shit, you've got a dick. Oh, I'm out of here. No jokes about that.
No jokes about that. But I had so much fun in it. The whole like all the weapons in the game were really fun. The The style of the game was well put together, and it was just a really fun shooter. And I had so much fun playing with my brothers, playing that game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was with my brothers, and it was just stupid fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Like there was I don't remember anymore, but I just liked all the unique items that each side had, and it was just really just a fun basic shooter. It was more like a Team Fortress 2 style kind of graphics to it.
Yeah, I remember seeing this game. It looked interesting. I'm surprised it's still going. From what I can tell, it says it was released in February of 2012, and like 5 years later,
Wow.
for a game that I can't imagine too many people are playing, like it's kept up, I guess.
Yeah, it was. It's a fun game, you know. If you just want to play like a silly shooter and that's still actually well programmed and well designed, Gotham City Imposter is something to look into. I had fun in it, and then so that's my number four. My number three is No More Room in Hell, and that is a free-to-play zombie game. And it is the point of the game is a simple of getting from point A to point B. What I loved about this game so much, though, is that there were always like every map had like five different routes that it forces you to take. So like you would start off and then be like, all right, here's your first objective, get the key, and like the key would be somewhere in usually in different places, and then or the objective would be completely something else though, and like each step progress thing was something that could be something different. So you never fully knew like what path you would have to take, and it made the game so much fun.
Hmm.
It was janky at first, but it's still running now, and so I'm actually gonna download it and see how it is, because it was when I played it, it was still new, but it was just fun. I just love the idea. It's like you can play the level, but you never knew like which pathway you were gonna have to take. It was gonna make you take, or where you had to get your objectives from to continue on to the next area. It was a lot of fun. Like, and when I say next area, there was no loading screen. It's all one map. It's kind of like a Left 4 Dead map, you know?
Yeah, I remember playing this with you once or twice.
Yeah, and so the mechanics are really good. There was a lot of different varieties in the game too, and yeah, it just was very unique, and I enjoyed it. It's one of those zombie games I'll never forget, and I'm glad it's still out there, and I want to give it a go. So those are my bottom three: Fallout Shelter, Gotham City Imposters, and No More Room in Hell. What about you, Ben? What are your bottom three?
So, my number five. The reason it's my number five, it would have been higher on the list, but the game model recently changed. It was pay to play, and now it recently went free to play. And so I haven't played the free to play model, but I've heard it's kind of the same thing. But it's the Secret World, now officially called the Secret World Legends. So when I played the Secret World, it was a really fun game. Honestly, one of the big things about the Secret World is that they give a heavy emphasis on story, which isn't like too popular of a thing in MMOs. Honestly, I wasn't a big fan of that. I go and play MMOs, and I play like Diablo 3. I play with friends and stuff just because I want to kill everything immediately. Like I don't care about the story.
Same, likewise.
Like who reads all the text in World of Warcraft or something? So
I don't know who could.
Yeah, but so like, sorry, that was a small. That was like a micro rant, if anything. But essentially,
but
the game was.
I'm in the same boat.
Oh, okay, yeah. But essentially, the game was really tight. The combat mechanics were sweet. I think I've talked about the Secret World before, but essentially, what you do is you pick one of 9 different weapons or ways of fighting, and then you get to pick 2 of those weapons. So pretty much, you make a class based off the 2 weapons that you pick, and if it's like pistols and sword, then those are like both like really heavy single damage. So that's like your normal DPS. If you do like shotgun and like there's spell casting too, but if you do like the healing spells, then that's like more support. You know, you're a healer, and then the shotgun is more like area of effect damage and stuns and what, like it hits multiple enemies. So like it was cool because the weapons that you chose actually made sense to the character that you played. You know, like it seems like such an obvious thing, like, oh, shotgun, you know, widespread, hits multiple targets. But then for someone to take that idea and be like, oh, that makes sense, like, you know, he can do all the stun attacks and he can do all the blind attacks and stuff. Like, it was just really,
Right.
it made a lot of sense, I guess. So like the team combat was really sweet, and some of the coolest instances I've ever played were in the Secret World. But the reason that it hits number 5 is simply because I just haven't played the free-to-play model. But I've heard that it is a significant improvement. So I think of the experience that I had when it was pay-to-play, and now it's free-to-play, and I've heard it's better. So I mean, I might give that a shot at some point. I had like 6 friends that used to love playing that game.
Yeah, it's like I couldn't I give it a go, or I just couldn't get into it. I'm just not much of an MMO like Diablo 3. I enjoy Diablo 3, but Diablo 3 is a whole different style.
It's not an MMO.
Like, yeah, it's not. And like I have a hard time getting into MMOs. Like the only one I ever really got into, like I said, I talked about before, was Guild Wars 2 and EVE Online. Those are the ones I ever got into. Like I tried World of Warcraft, couldn't get into it. Secret World was fun, a bit of fun, but yeah, it's something I can't play for that long.
Okay, so
It's one of the,
well, here's a question. So, do you like leveling up in RPGs and stuff? Because you said you like Fallout,
no,
but
no, because it felt like a lot of the stuff in those games felt like just grinding in the end.
yeah.
But with like Fallout though, you leveled up as you progressed in the story, so it didn't feel like grinding. I just leveled up as I continued playing the game. In like MMOs, it just you always end up sometimes just have to grind a lot of stuff, and usually a lot of their stories or missions were just very, very not unique at all, and just boring to me in the end. And what I enjoyed about EVE Online is that like in EVE Online, you didn't level up at all by doing anything. You just leveled up by just waiting. You just waiting in real time. So then what you did in the game then was just play the game, and you made your own missions. And like the final goal was to make enough money where you can actually use the in-game money to pay for subscriptions, like the monthly fee thing then. So you didn't have to pay actual money anymore in the game. And also to build alliances with other people, and just like the world that like you know about EVE Online. Like everyone, pretty much anyone who's played games or even knows MMOs knows the story of EVE Online, just like what happens in that world. And like how there's this whole unique ecosystem, how there's like these huge corporations and these micro corporations where there's this sabotages, backstabbing, just combinations of these large fights where like that like $100,000 or just ships are just blown up, or when someone just forgets to log out and then just leaves like $1 million ship out in the middle of nowhere, and so everyone just goes and blows it up. And it just like the world of EVE Online is something very unique to me, and just in how it's so much different than any other MMO I played, because there's just so much more into it. There's one that's been close to it, but not as in depth, which is what's it called? Elite Dangerous. And that's like, to me, that's like EVE Online, but as like a first-person shooter with spaceships, you know, a spaceship fighting simulator, which is very interesting. And I'd love to get into that game, but as we talked in a later podcast, about games you don't have time for, and I just do not have time for Elite and Dangerous. You just have to put a lot of time in that game to actually make progress in it. But yeah, sorry about that.
So the Secret World Legends. No,
this is like another random, like whole like talking side talks, you know.
No, I'm sorry. I wanted to contribute towards what you were saying, but at the same time, I was like, it would just be funny if I just interjected and went back to the Secret World Legends. But I also didn't want to be an asshole, so I thought I'd wait.
That'd be great. Like I just like as soon as I was done, I was like, yeah, I just wanted that. It'd be just great, just like right back to it.
No, but pretty much like if you were like, yeah, Elite Dangerous, I just don't have time for it. Be like, yeah, and the other thing I really like about the Secret World Legend, like as if you like never stopped talking about it. But okay, so now that I made the joke, I pretty much have to do exactly what I said. But to circle back to the Secret World Legends, it's just a really good game, and once again, these games are all free. Like, it is an MMO. If you have time to play it, it does demand a lot of time, obviously, but you should definitely give it a shot. Hell, I mean, I've got way too much shit to play right now, but that is. I think that was on my. I don't have time for this shit. Like, the games
Yeah,
that.
it was.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Because I was gonna say I do wish I could like rally the group back together for that.
That's why, like I said about EVE Online, that uh, you just gain your skills by loading up your skill sheets, and you turn off the game, and then you're still leveling up in the end, which is cool.
Oh, the other thing I was gonna say is that if you don't like grinding, you're gonna have an immediate change of heart about Diablo 3 when you hit level 70.
No, but like Diablo's fun grinding though. It's just people blowing up. You have like cool moves.
It's really
You know,
fast.
Yeah, it's really fast and interesting. You have like watching like your partner throw 50 hammers around him as like enemies are just exploding with lightning, and I'm summoning like these dogs that like I make them explode and like kill other enemies, and I have a giant that gets even bigger and start bashing people's heads together, and then I'm there just summoning a giant head that just throws up acid onto people. That's fun.
I feel like Diablo
Right?
3 is becoming like our player unknown battlegrounds of yester month where we just bring it up every podcast. When one of us is talking about Diablo 3, the other person should just whisper into their mic, "Buy Diablo 3" or something like over and over again.
But like it's fun, It's the same thing with EVE Online. The gameplay is fun, It just like it's like the stuff that you gotta do is what you play the game for.
Diablo 3. Oh yeah, totally.
I just like my example of your friend's throwing 50 hammers around, his enemies explode, and I'm summoning a giant head that throws up acid onto people.
Hell yeah, dog. My Hammerdin is unstoppable until he becomes Thornvilled. But okay, so Secret World Legends. That's it. That's my number 5. My number 4. I'm sure most people.
Still on number 5.
I don't mind going slow. No, it's good. It's good.
Either do I. I'm just laughing. I think it's great.
So my number 4 is actually also a phone game. This is the only one on my list. Although, if you have any other phone games that you have on your list, like I am actually looking for something else to play on my phone. Now that after we had that conversation, I'm like, oh, that sounds fun actually.
Yeah, I only have his Fall Out Shelter because I was like the only one ever played on my phone.
Yeah, I don't know. For like the 2 people listening to this, if you know any good phone games, let us know because I could be down to buy one. Yeah. Actually, okay. Before I get on to my number 4, I did find a phone game based on Stranger Things, and if you look it up, it's a free game, and it plays out like fucking Earthbound or something. Like it's a top-down RPG, and it looks pretty dope. I've had it downloaded on my phone for like 5 days, and I haven't played it yet. Because it just looks like kind of a longer game, but it looks like a totally sweet game as well.
Okay.
But okay, so my number 4...
You just go around collecting waffles? I mean, Eggos?
God, that would... I wish.
No, it looks good.
Yeah, I thought it looked kind of cool. I haven't seen any
Got a
game...
4.8.
Yeah, it's a pretty good score. Yeah, I don't know. I've got it downloaded on my phone. I haven't touched it yet, though, but we'll see. So my number 4 is the only phone game on my list is Pokemon Go. I'm sure most people played it.
I don't have that on my phone anymore. I used to have it, actually. I used to play it when I'd be if I was on the airplane, if I was just flying, I would just play that then.
Yeah.
If I was done watching my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That I'd say on my phone.
Definitely. And so exactly, so Mike, as he's said 100 times, is that he travels for work. Him and I used to have the same job. I used to travel for work, and Pokemon Go is a game all about exploration if you ever played it. And holy crap, if you travel for work, it is like the best thing ever. I remember I went to Miami for work when that game first came out, and my buddy and I were just like, hey, let's go down to Miami Beach. And like, we were on the fucking ocean, like, watching cruise ships pull in and out, walking on the beach. And we're on our phones, and we're like, there's a Squirtle somewhere around here, like, we took some pictures. We enjoyed fucking Miami Beach and all that. But still, like, every 5 minutes, we'd pull out our phones and be like, there's a Hitmonlee. There's a Hitmonlee. There's a Hitmonlee. Like, you'd see like 5 people run across the street and some shit like that. Like, when Pokemon Go was in its prime, that shit was infectious. But no, so playing that game on the road was I don't think there was much better. I think that was one of the most addicting moments in my life is playing Pokemon Go when I was traveling. But I mean,
Does your roommate still play it?
yeah, they do.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm happy that because I don't play at all anymore.
Yeah,
But like I said, I don't keep apps along my phone. Like I had it. I mean, I gave it a go for maybe a month, and I just like, okay, I'm done.
Pokemon Go is the whole reason I bought the phone I have right now. I went into Verizon
Oh
and I was
shit.
like, "Hey, what's the phone that you have with the biggest battery life?" And the guy's like, this one." And I was like, "Deal."
Oh my God, Ben.
Yeah, I know. So if that show, it probably should be higher up on my list saying that.
You bought a phone for it, so
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was
sure, I put
overdue.
$5. I put $5 in my game, my app game, but you bought a damn phone for
It's not
it.
like I was phoneless beforehand. Like I was due for an upgrade. No, I wasn't. I'm
Yeah, but
lying.
that's what they have. Oh my God, Ben, they have phone chargers, all right, that you can carry with
It's not
you.
the same. Um. So
Oh, that's good.
so Pokemon Go. It was good while it lasted, and then they ruined it, and I haven't played in a while. Maybe it's better. I don't know. Um.
I doubt it is.
Number three.
The I know that like the people who made the game were just complete shit and keeping the game like updated.
I'll have to ask my roommates. Obviously, they still play
Yeah.
it, as we mentioned. So we'll see. Um. Number three is a game that if you've I mean, this is before Steam, honestly. If you've ever cruised the internet looking for like type in free MMO game or something into Google, this is a game that'll almost always show up. It's called Anarchy Online, and it was great back in the day.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so the graphics are super fucking bad, like RuneScape style. I mean they're better than RuneScape, but the coolest thing about Anarchy Online is that it had 22 different classes you could choose from, I believe. Now that I'm saying such a specific number, I feel inclined to look it up. But pretty much it was an MMORPG. And
Oh, I remember this one now. Yeah, like you tried to get me into it as well. Like, well, you didn't try. You probably you talked about this a long time ago.
yep.
Not in the podcast though.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 4. Okay, there's 14 classes. I was way off. Um, yeah, right.
A little.
But they had some really cool classes. So I mean, I'm just gonna pull up this image here. So like name like a normal class that you would have in a game. There's like a warrior or a healer or something.
Hooker.
Yeah, exactly. Here are some of the classes that you could play as in Anarchy Online. You can play as a metaphysicist, an engineer, a soldier is a general class, a martial artist, a nanotechnician, a bureaucrat. What a weird thing to be, a bureaucrat. But these are all like fighting classes. Incredibly, somehow a bureaucrat is a fighting class.
Huh.
An agent, a trader, a doctor, an enforcer. Like it was just a really interesting game that they had that many abilities. Granted, the game like the abilities were like you shoot a yellow circle and this guy shoots a red circle. There wasn't too much of a difference from combat to combat, but like or like it didn't look that much different, but the effects they were all genuinely different. Like, oh, this one does damage over time. This one heals you over a certain amount of time. This is an instant heal. This is a mass heal. This is an explosion that deals damage to multiple enemies. Like, there was actually a good amount of variety in the game. You can play as an agent who does sniper rifles and stuff. Like, there was a really cool amount of variation in the game, and the game was huge too. I can't remember how big it was, but pretty much like this is the type of game that you made sure that you had auto run on, and you would just auto run. Like, cook yourself a couple hot dogs. Why are you eating multiple hot dogs? You cook yourself like 20 hot dogs, you eat all the hot dogs, and then you go back to the game, and you're like at the destination you were looking to get to. The map layout is really weird in the game, where like you start out in this one training area, and then when you get past the training area, like there's one dungeon that you can do called the subway, and then the next dungeon that makes sense to do after the subway is like an hour outside of town of you just running in a direction. And it's not like an easy jog to get there. Like, you have to run in neutral territory where I think like other people can kill you for one, but also there's like level 70 or whatever monsters. I haven't played in a long time. Maybe I'm just bullshitting half of this stuff. But the game, you play as space aliens and you fight the mice. No,
it's a massive game. Though. It's a massive free to play. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, the game, like, I don't even know if it's still up right now. It probably is. It was pretty popular. But these guys, Anarchy Online, like the people that made it, once again, if I remember correctly, are Funcom, who later went on to make The Secret World.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Yeah, Funcom. So.
Well, that's awesome that you like that other game they made too. Like you like Strange World. What's it called?
Secret World.
Secret World. That you like their other game too. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a total surprise. Like, that was kind of the reason I got into Secret World to begin with, is because I grew up on Anarchy Online. I played this game, and I only played with one other dude, but essentially, like, it kind of felt, dare I say, it kind of felt a little bit like Diablo, where, like, itemization in the game is huge. Like, think of in Diablo, you've got like your shoulder pads, your arms, your legs, your boots, your helmet. Yeah. You know, so you had 3 tiers of wearable like items on your body. So there was just armor for one, and then you could get like a turret on your shoulder and shit like that. And on top of like other stuff like that, they had an entirely separate tier for like body modifications. I forget what that's called.
Right.
For implants. That's what it was. So like, you know, you had like aside from having a shoulder pad, you also had an arm implant, you know. You had like hand implants on top of your gloves. So it was really cool. Like, there was a whole lot of loot that you would like sort through, and your character would like get that much better. And that was kind of a big draw for me back in the day. Obviously, I have heavy roots in Diablo 2. So that was my number 3. So going back through those 3, The Secret World, Pokemon Go, and Anarchy Online. Mike, what's your number 2?
Number 2, you know it, Ben. I talked about it before. It's the space ninja game Warframe.
I was actually looking on Steam for free games, and that was the number 1 most popular free game was Warframe. So I might have to try.
It is like when I played it, it was a different style game. There wasn't that open world of a game, at least to the places I've been to. Most of them were just like these mining shafts or these space corridors that you go into. The game is so well designed. It's super fast paced. It looks beautiful. The combat is fun. It just like you just slaughter people. You can cut people in half. You can just fill them up with bullet holes. You can blow them up. You get like Warframe is because like it's called Warframe because the suit you wear is called a frame, and then that suit defines what class you are. So like I forget what the classes were, but there's even more now. And the game is just, there's so much. They even put like a soccer game in, like a full functioning real soccer type of game. It's actually more like
Rocket League?
Rugby. No, it's more like rugby. Sorry. Oh. It's more like rugby. And the game is just so, and it's a real fucking game you can play. It's like Rugby. Rocket League style. Like Rocket League style, like, well, it was well programmed. It's a fun game to play now.
Wait, so is it like rugby or is it like Rocket League?
No, so like it's like rugby.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, you know how Rocket League is a full game, you know, that stuff. You know, there's rules and everything, like real rules and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a whole own set of rules and stuff, and it's a real, actually well developed game inside of the game. And there's just like so many more things you can do in the game now. You can fly around in space like in a suit that shoots like missiles now, and I'm like, I really want to get into it. But it's like it's also one of those games that's like I don't know if I'll have time to play, but I'm gonna download it next time I'm back home because it just it's just so much fun. It's like you're just like this ultimate badass, and the enemies are really well designed. They're super unique, and the levels are also interesting to play in. You can either be just like a full blown badass, just go in guns blazing, or you can stealth, do a bunch of like sneak in behind, try not to raise the alarms. But I just always remember playing that game, always trying to stealth it by myself. But as soon as the alarm went out, it was like a full book it. Then I'd just start running past enemies, like just doing flips over people, cutting people's heads off when I get the chance to, get the objective, and then run all the way back to my escape point where then you just like jump into your ship and it just takes right off and it's like mission success. It's like, it's so good.
Hold up. You're going to tell me that this game has rocket launchers and shit like that, and then you're going to also follow that up with you played the stealth mode. Played Doom 2016 in stealth mode.
I don't know why. It was just like I said. The game was more originally. There was like multiple different ways to play the game, and the game was support any way you want to play. It's like, say if you want to go guns blazing, you can do that with no issue at all. But for me, it was just fun. It was like a fun way to do that. Just try to see if I can sneak around everyone, kill people silently, and all that stuff, and complete the whole mission without even setting the alarm off. But you know, it was nice because you get a bonus for doing it, but you also get a bonus for completing the level at like really fast too. And it's so good, and like they added more missions now. I'm hearing there's more weapons, there's more customizations. The customizations are easier to do and more like they're easier to do. It's not as complicated as it used to be, and it's a lot more user friendly. Well, it's kind of difficult to get into now. It's kind of like what EVE Online has, when it's kind of like a rough entrance fee to fully understand what you're doing. But like EVE Online, once you get past that barrier, you know what you're doing, it's just so much fun. And yeah, it's like, and I just had so much fun out of it with Warframe. It was one of those games, those rare games that was free to play that had so much fun. You know, it's like with your Anarchy, and I really want to get back into it.
Yeah, I might give it a shot.
That's my number 2.
I might give it a shot with you. That sounds pretty decent. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like Diablo a bit, honestly, but more third person style instead.
Is there heavy emphasis on loot?
Yeah, it's all about getting loot. That's all free to play. You know, yeah, it's basically all loot based. You know, getting these parts, building weapons, building armor, building pets, getting stuff for your ship. And yeah, I forget, you can customize your ships now, like inside your ship and stuff. And when you're inside your ship, your pet has its own little area too that you can customize. But yeah, it's all about just building up your character with all this loot you get in the game and all this material.
All right. Yeah, I might be on board for that.
Sweet. I'll be totally down to play that. So yeah, that's my number 2 though, Warframe.
Cool.
What's yours?
This is kind of cheating, but it made such a huge impact in my life that I decided it was worth putting it in. So, my number 2 is World of Warcraft, and it's cheating because everyone's going to say, well, that's not a free game, Ben. You know, it's a monthly subscription. Well, if you played the way that I did, it was free. There's a website for pirates.
You cheating motherfucker.
Honestly, though, it was the cheating. It was the way that we forced it to be free that made it fun. It's not that I played the game on their servers. I played on what was called a private server, where someone hosted their own server and people joined in. And you would think like, oh, okay, there's going to be 10 people or something on this server. Well, my buddy and I, we joined one that had like 10,000 people on it, and it was actually super cool because this dude who was hosting all these people, he actually knew how to code. Like, he would make certain features to this private server. So people were playing World of Warcraft normal, and we were playing like this heavily modded World of Warcraft. And if you remember from a previous podcast, I said I never played past Burning Crusade, because I think Wrath of the Lich King was the third one, and we never got into that. But so like on the private server, the first time that I ever played, my buddy was a gnome, and gnomes are pretty tiny. But they had modded it where the gnomes are only 4 inches tall. So, like, my buddy was a gnome, and he was as tall as a blade of grass in the game. Which, like, grass is emphasized to be a little larger, as it is in normal games. So, like, he showed up, he walked over to me, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Hey, where are you?" And he's like, "Look at your feet." And, like, that's just one example. Mike, did I ever tell you the story about the sheep in this game?
Yeah, you should tell the story though. It's good. I love this story.
Okay, so the other thing about the game about a private server is that it's really unreliable, so it'll crash all the time, and then everyone like loses connection, and then you've got to relog. Like pretty much on the guy's side, he's got to like go over. If he's not home, the server's going to be down for hours. If he is home, or whatever, whoever's hosting it, it could even just be like a couple dudes, but whoever's hosting it, they've got to restart their server manually. So, at least I assume this is what they did. But as they're doing that, everyone that wants to play the game is just waiting, typing in their password over and over again, trying to get back in the game. Like, I spent hours just retyping my password over and over again. And then the second that it's like, login successful, you're like, the buddy I played, his name's Travis. I was like, "Hey, Travis, the World of Warcraft, the server's on." And he'd be like, "Oh, shit, okay, I'm coming." Like, I spent so much time just typing in my fucking password over and over, which made like the wait, the anticipation of this game, that made it so much more fun. But essentially, so the story about the sheep is a couple of mods added up to make this, and it's the funniest thing in the world. So in World of Warcraft, there's a class called the Hunter, and the Hunter, he can tame beasts. So, what are you doing over there? I can hear, like...
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you can hear me folding paper.
Oh, no, it's fine. It sounded like you... I don't know. It sounded like you were, like, cracking pistachios or something, almost.
I was literally just, like, those little notebooks you get at your hotel rooms?
Oh.
Yeah, I just start folding. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's
my hand.
Lost my train of thought. Okay, right, so, the Hunter can tame beasts. So, one of the things that the private server allowed was that you can tame any beast, and so pretty much what you had to do is go to, like, at the time there was this boss, or sorry, not a boss, it was this instance called Nox Ramus, and I think it's still around in World of Warcraft, but one of the first areas that you go to, there's an elite monster, which means it does like double damage, or it's got enhanced stats than a normal monster that level would have. So it's the highest level, which I think was 70 after the first expansion. So the beast that people would do to make the Hunter absolutely ridiculous is they would go and train this level 70 spider elite that would spawn in this Nox Ramus cave, which I don't think that you can normally train elite monsters. So that was kind of the thing, is like, everyone would do that, and then the Hunter was just the most powerful class in the game, because you had this pet that, like, if you dueled someone, the spider would just go over and immediately kill you. And so, like, that was it. It was so powerful. Like, an elite monster, you typically need a group of people to attack, especially in an instance like Nox Ramus. Like, you go in with a party. So to have to battle a guy with a level 70 elite spider, aside from fighting the Hunter, you have to fight this thing that it already takes like multiple people to take down. Like, it's a no contest situation.
How big were the spiders too again? I forgot.
The spiders,
they were like pretty big.
Yeah, so the spiders were like probably, I mean, let's say that a World of Warcraft guy is like 6 feet tall or something. The spiders were probably like 10 square feet, so like 10 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet high or something. Like, it was you pretty much went up to like the spiders, I don't even know. Like, you were nowhere near as big as the spider at all. It was a huge...
It like, he was like 2 stories tall then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty big. So, one of the funniest things that ever happened in the game is me and my buddy were going to Orgrimmar, which is the Horde main town city, and there's this guy with this red sheep as big as a fucking building outside the gates, and we're like, what the fuck is this? So So I guess what happened is this. Sorry, everything I've mentioned about the private server is all build up to this story so that it makes sense as I explain it. The server's crashing, the whole like taming this spider, everything like that. So pretty much what happened is this guy was like, yeah, I went to go duel someone. And he said it was like last week. Like this didn't just happen or anything. Like he has had this red massive 2-story sheep for like a week. It just like is a broken thing that he just now like has. But he said I went to go duel someone and I had this level 70 elite spider and I casted it, or I had it, and it just immediately went to attack this guy. Except this guy was a wizard. And the wizard cast polymorph on the spider, which what it does is it disables the spider for a bit and turns it into a harmless sheep. And so the sheep just kind of like wanders around for 4 seconds or whatever. The second that the guy cast polymorph, it enraged the spider, which turned him red, and the server just crashed immediately. And he said, ever since I've come back onto the server now, my spider remains this massive red sheep, but it still attacks. Like it's not like docile like a polymorph would do. Like the effect has worn off. It looks like a sheep still. So to humor myself, I go and duel this guy. And I'm like, let's just see what happens. And of course I die immediately, but the way that I died was I get ready. I'm a warlock, and like as I start to channel my first ability, the sheep just runs over to me, just one hits me, and I die immediately. I've never been more jealous of anyone in my life. I mean, that guy had honestly a 1 in a million opportunity to get this massive red 2-story like killer death sheep, and all he did, like, he knew that he was like super lucky too, because he was just hanging outside of the biggest city in the fucking game, just telling people his story and like looking for props. So
it's like, hey, you want to fight my sheep?
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean that's like what he specifically was doing nothing. He was just standing out there, and everyone was like in awe of this massive red sheep that followed him around. It's like a fucking Clifford sheep or something, you know, except it murdered everything it saw. So I mean, that amongst many other examples of just like glitchery and other like BS that happened on private servers. That's why World of Warcraft private server, and it has to be on my list because it's just so pricelessly hilarious all the times I played. It technically fits the list because I didn't pay a dime for it, and it has to be number 2 just because, I mean, it felt timeless. If there was a good private server to play right now, I know there's a couple, but well, I don't even know if I would go back to it. I think it was just a very timely thing, you know. I don't think I could re-experience that fun again, Mike.
I don't think so either, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a different time nowadays, you know. Games are totally different. They look different. We play differently now, so...
Yeah, I mean, when I was 14, like, I was more than happy to spend, like, an hour and a half just typing in the same, you know, 6, 7, 8 number password on my computer for forever, you know, just to get like 5 minutes in this game. So
yeah, because you also were 14 and you had nothing else to do.
Pretty much. But no, I think that you're right. I think times have changed. Like, I don't think I can ever re-experience that. But yeah, so that's my number 2. Mike, what's your number 1, bud?
I'm pretty sure my number 1's gonna probably be your number 1, but my number 1 is League of Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your number 1 as well?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that as soon as I was starting the list. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be Ben's too. And it's just that we both got, you show me the game, and it's like, hey, you want to play this with me? I'm like, all right, I'll give it a go. And we just played that for like, I don't know how many years we played it, but not only did we play it, but we also watched like the esports of it too together, nonstop.
Yeah.
You know, we were both into it. The game was fun, you know.
It was the cultural
And
shift that was really cool. That was the first game that I ever started to really like. Esports was coming out, but the community in general just was cool to like
oh
that it
yeah,
took everyone by storm.
it showed me Twitch in the end. That's where I kind of really got into Twitch and understanding what Twitch is really, what Twitch can really do and all that stuff. It just introduced me to so many things. The game, it was so much fun. I can no longer play it anymore though. It just the amount of times I played just with strangers for an hour, that stuff, the toxicity of it, the it's funny because like I love the game, but I also hate it at the same time.
Well, yeah, I think the biggest issue is that people just micromanage each other in the game. Like if you've got a bad jungler or a bad main, like or yeah, a bad main lane, like or middle lane. It's been forever since I've played. But if you've got a bad person on your team, like they could lose the entire game for you.
Oh yeah,
And
for
and you
sure.
it like you can showcase it to everyone. Like the way that you can go from person to person seamlessly kind of shows you like if this person fucks up, it's going to declare, "Oh, he got killed by this guy," and like
Yeah,
multi-kill, death streak, whatever. And I know those aren't real League of Legends terms, but whatever, leave me alone.
we get the point.
Yeah, like you're
No,
you're gonna know like, oh, that person's been dying a lot. And that I think that was the killer is that like Rainbow Six Siege is definitely
you
a
die.
game where you can come back
Yeah.
from the lower hand.
Oh yeah, and it's like, and if you die and you lose, it doesn't matter. Overall, the whole entire game was maybe what, 17 minutes in total,
Yeah,
long, and like, but with League of Legends, those games go on for 45 minutes minimum. That's like the minimum, like really most games went. Otherwise, it would go like for an hour or an hour and a half sometimes. And it's just like, fuck, to keep on playing the same, like to be in one game for that long, and then for just like one person to either just give up or mess up, or you messed up and you just threw that whole hour and a half game down the drain. It's like, oh, it was demoralizing.
yeah, that's definitely the issue with it. Is just that like there's the games. I mean, we'll just stick with Rainbow Six Siege because we're already
Yeah.
using it as an example. But matches are 5 minutes long, and it's up to 5 matches total. So like you're talking 25 minutes at a maximum. Um, the nice thing about it is that like you don't have enough time to really know like, oh, this guy's shit at this game because
Yeah.
you can only die 5 times maximum in the game, and you're probably gonna not even die 5 times. So like for a game like League of
Let's see.
Legends, as much as I did love the game, obviously it's my number one favorite free game. It's Mike's number one favorite free game. I still agree with Mike that yeah, it's hard to
We
go
should
back to that.
we should check out Battle Right. Battle Right is like League of Legends, but where all it is just you do 3 rounds, and it's basically just team fight. You can either do 2-on-2 or 3-on-2, and you just fight each other. You get all your abilities ready. It plays. You move with the actual WA and SD things, but you have like these abilities just like you have in League of Legends. But it's just like a team fight. That's it.
Is it
And
free?
then there's no. Yeah, it's free, and it plays the same way as League of Legends. But as Dota when you get all the characters already.
I'll think about it.
And no, yeah, and something that we should think about, just like maybe just giving a look into, because that's what all it is. Though the main goal is just to kill the other team in that round, and just to win 2 of the 3 rounds in the end. Or is it? I think there's actually 5 rounds. Yeah, so you have to win 3 of the 5 rounds. But I do remember though when we met went out. There was this conversation we're having with our friends here in Montana. Well, not here in Montana. Right now. I'm in Florida. But I just remember when like we never discussed it out at all. But like we just bring up League of Legends, and I just said like I think it was you, or I says like, yeah, I was DK for Dark Knight, and you're like, I was like, wait, you were DK for Dark Knight? It was like, yeah. It's like, oh shit. I just remember that. I just thought it was funny because like they were all higher levels. Like they all actually made it to rank, and me, I never even made it to rank at all. But they said that was good. I was like, oh, thank you. I don't think it was ever that good though. Like they never said I was the best, but I just thought it was very funny. They didn't realize that I was DK for Dark Knight.
Well, you and I mean, in our group of friends at least, like I don't think we were ever like the best, but for a certain time, you and I were kind of like the people that showed everyone else the game.
Yeah. That's true. Like, yeah, you showed them, and I would join in
Like, my Singed
with
game was
you.
pretty good for a while there,
Oh my
but I'm
god, your
not going to
Singed
say that it
was so
was
much fun.
godly. Like, I just messed around. I got under
Yeah,
people's skins. I did exactly what
that's
Singed was made to do. That doesn't make me
yeah,
good, but it makes me a good Singed player.
yeah. I did most like I remember like after a while I started switching up different roles. My favorite was mid and AD, and then I could do top pretty well. Not the best though. The only role I couldn't do was jungle. I could never jungle for
Yeah.
the life of me.
Well, since both of
I
us picked this as our number one, I think we can stick on League of Legends for a little longer. Like, I know that in the past we've kind of shit on it, but let's talk about some of our favorites. Like, let's talk about some of our
yeah.
stuff about League of Legends. So, um,
I love the champions in it. The character play is very unique. The abilities were cool. Uh, I think my I started off with Urgot because Urgot with his was like these most like Urgot got remodeled. He has new abilities and looks differently. His original style and character was just he was the most ugliest thing I've seen in my entire life. And as soon as I saw them, I was like, I have to get you. And so I worked up to like I played enough so I can get him. I was like, yes. And he just was like one of the most bullshit champions ever, where he would hit you with a toxic missile, and then after that, then his Q would shoot out his spike arm, and then that spike arm would just home on you nonstop. So like that's all I did to people, just constantly homing onto them.
it's
You
worth
just but
it's worth mentioning
you
too. Mike and I started in season one. We started playing in
yeah
season one. We started watching the esports in season two.
yeah we're the old dogs. We're the original.
Oh, gee. Um,
Motherfuckers, with all this free shit, you don't have to buy runes anymore.
yep.
Fucking lucky ass bitches.
No, I think
I am glad they changed that though. I think that's awesome that they got rid of the buying of runes and stuff. Like you can get the money, you can get the points to get them, but it makes it a much more fair play, a fair ground with everyone. Then that everyone gets the same runes.
yeah, I heard that they got rid of runes as well.
It's still there, but now you don't have to buy them. You just pick which ways you want to go. You just have them all
Yeah.
technically.
I was gonna say I think when I lost interest in League of Legends was specifically when they made an item slot for wards where everyone had a ward spot. Trinkets, that's what it was.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always forgot trinkets, and everyone yelled at me.
I loved it because that's when I was playing mid, and I was like, I get free 2 wards to watch the river for free. I'm like, are you for real? So like, I used to play Oriana was my favorite mid, and when I was her, and with those free wards, I would never get ganked. Then it was so nice because like she had such an easy escape ability because she would put that wave, like she would put a spot down that would slow enemies, but then speed up allies. So it was, I loved her.
Man.
She was so much fun.
Ganked. I haven't used that word in like years.
Right?
Ganked.
I haven't said that in such a long time.
Uh,
I'd always try to find the most difficult characters to play as.
Listen to
Those are the
these
ones I was seeing the
geezers.
most interesting.
yeah. Oh man. Okay. So for myself, I started as. I mean, I played Singed, but like we at the
What was
level that
the,
we ever at the level wow, I can't speak. At the level that we played, we were never like specifically like you think of Singed now if you're familiar with League of Legends and you think like top lane. Pretty much I would take Singed anywhere. Like I would be Singed
Yeah.
and I would go to any lane with him. That's when we were still doing 2 up top, 2 on bottom and 1 in mid. We didn't even have a jungler
Yeah.
back in the day when we were starting to play. And then as we continued on, I did a lot of mid as well. I really liked Annie. She was actually my first. So I would
Yeah, you were always an Annie.
yeah, Annie was
With mid.
Annie was my first character that I bought, and I stuck with her for a bit, and then I did Singed, and Singed I typically did top or bottom with someone else, and then I think where I spent the most amount of my time in that game was in the jungle before they vastly switched it up. Now they've got like
Yeah.
Elder Lizard and stuff, or no, they used to have the Lizard dude.
Yeah, they switched it so much. There's actually
Now they've got like stone golems and other shit.
who's that one jungler that we used to? He was on that we used to watch on Twitch all the
Oh,
time.
dude, the general, my fucking boy, the
Yeah,
odd
General.
one.
The odd one. Like I remember, like when they changed jungle again, he literally says like, I'm done being jungler because they changed it so much. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. I can't keep up with it because they're changing the jungle too much. It was so funny because like he literally says like I can't do jungle right now. They've switched it up so many times and so quickly that it's impossible to do anything in it right now. So I thought it was very funny, and that's why I dropped out of it too. Is because they just kept on updating it way too fast for me to keep up with the meta and all that stuff to understand, like, to be still good at the game.
Yeah, it was really tough for me. Being a jungler, I don't play a ton of online games. I really don't like toxicity too much.
Neither do I. It just kills the mood. Like, why? I don't like putting myself in that situation.
Yeah, like I definitely don't mind the competitive nature of things, but definitely if there's like, if you get friends that are going to be like mad at you for fucking up one night, it's like, why even fucking bother half the time?
Yeah, it's like if you have like a group of friends that just like they play to win but don't care if they lose, that game is a top-notch game. It is 10 out of 10 great game. But the problem with it though is getting a team of 5 together. That's a very chill group. So in the end, you're always gonna you most of the time you're playing with randos, and like I'd rather not be. It's not even flipping a coin. It's not gonna be a 50-50. Most of the time, you're gonna just get some assholes, even on the other team too. So
sure.
And that's the issue. But once again, it's a good game, and I got so much enjoyment out of it, but I am not sad from not playing it anymore, though.
Yeah, obviously, once again, it's our number one. Both of our lists for free online games. If you haven't played League of Legends ever, you should at least give it some small try. It's definitely worth your time, and it's a nice, polished enough game.
Sure. Well, I mean, there's so much money into it now. There's a whole esports build around it.
Yeah, like it's just it's just a fun community to get involved in.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
I think I might be being a little bit harsh too, saying that. Yeah, a high chance of running to aggressive players, but actually I haven't played in such a long time, so I don't even know anymore what it's like.
I don't know. I mean, it was pretty toxic back in the day. Mike, if you want to run back through your top 5, I'll do mine, and then we can probably move on here.
Yeah, sure. So once again, we're going to go with starting with the bottom. We got Fallout Shelter, then we got Gotham City Imposters, No More Room in Hell, Warframe or Space Ninjas. And League of Legends.
Yep. And mine was Secret World Legends, Pokemon Go, Anarchy Online, the private server of World of Warcraft with
cheating fuck
big red dog Clifford Cheeps, and number 1 is League of Legends. But yeah, I don't know. I think
that was our top 5. That was a really good top 5. Like I said, I wasn't expecting. That turned out way better than I am excited, because I was actually excited for the top 5, but that turned out really good. I'm just saying. Like usually we wait after we're done the podcast to say how we feel, but like I'm just saying, I'm really happy with this top 5.
Honestly, when I started, I'm gonna be honest. I don't play a ton of online free games. The ones that I do have on my list I thoroughly enjoyed, but I mean I could maybe think of 8. So
oh shit! Wait, time out. I almost forgot. Honorable mention: EVE Online is now free to play.
Really?
They have a free to play segment on it now. Yeah, no shit. I forgot. Like I even had written down as honorable mention. The only reason why it's on my list is because I haven't played it yet, so I don't know how the whole system is. So that's why I decided not to put it on there. But yeah, EVE Online now is free to play, and so I'm like, do I play it or not? It's like, if I do, I'm going to sink into it. So I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a game that you play when you're not really playing, like, what's the harm there, I guess? I don't see why you couldn't just do that while you're traveling.
Yeah, I can make an account just so I can level up a character. Mm-hmm. That's true.
All right, so I want to talk about VR, because there's a couple games that have come out recently, and it's a pretty good argument to get. I'm thinking about getting a VR headset soon. I don't know.
I saw the one for their Killing Floor. It looks so fucking good. It looks so polished and awesome.
Did you see Doom VFR?
No, I heard about it though. I haven't got a chance to look at it though. But if it's anything like Killing Floor, oh my god. Because like Killing Floor also has a storyline to it as well though. Like the VR version. And if it's just as good as that, dude, it's just like if it's just as smooth and all that, man, it's insane. Yeah, VR is really taking off now. Like they're really putting effort into it, which is nice. I think what's helping too is that a lot of entertainment like Disney World and Hollywood studios, they're actually using VR part of their rides now. So I think that's what's also helping them produce more stuff into it.
That's cool.
No, yeah. So I'm hoping like it goes into that route, and so that way they don't make the technology cheaper, and so we'll see it more in houses now too.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the main reason I want to talk about this, so Doom VFR came out last week, and even cooler, Fallout 4 VR officially comes out on December 12th. So
oh, that's actually this month. Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, we got less than 10 days. Like I don't know how that's gonna go. Honestly, the biggest reason I haven't gotten VR is because I don't really like the way that you kind of like blink to move around, like you kind of jump from one space to another. That seems kind of lame to me. But like Doom VR, it offers the blink, but you can also move around, and then there's also like a third way I think I heard that you could move around. I'm not entirely sure on that.
I think it's the classic motion. Right now, the one of the other ways to move is that you move both your arms, like you move your arms back and forwards, like you're like pushing yourself forward with ski sticks. You know what I'm talking about? And so
Doom on skis.
So it's kind of like that motion you do with your hands. Like if you're on skis and you're just pushing yourself forward with these I don't know what you call them, like ski sticks or something.
I would just call them joysticks.
Well, no. I mean, because like you know what I'm talking about though. Like if you're actually skiing and you have those sticks and you push yourself forward with them, that's the motion you use with your hands to move yourself.
Yeah, a ski
forward. A ski pole, yeah. So you do that motion though, and so it's like, and you do the opposite way to move backwards.
Okay.
So it might be that might be the third motion that they're talking about.
Maybe.
Because that's in a lot of games now, a lot of VR games now.
Either way, I mean, I played Fallout 4. I got Fallout 4 for free when I got my PS4, and like it was a good game. But now that
you can get it, Skyrim now on your Switch now.
Yeah. Well, even Skyrim has a VR version. Like those games.
Does it? Shit.
Well, I don't know if it's an official version. I know that people have. Like when you wear the headset, you can play games and look around. Like you can play the game in the headset, but that doesn't mean that it's like, oh, my hand moves and all. Like, I think some people have modded it, but I don't think that there's an official release for it. Either way, Fallout 4 VR is an official release. By Bethesda, coming out December 12th. Doom VFR is an official release, and let's see, that came out. When did that come out here? November 30th. Yeah, so we're talking 4 days ago when we're recording this. Like, those are some pretty good arguments, my whole thing against VR has always been, if this was Nintendo, where's my Mario game? All these VR experiences, they always feel so experimental. They don't feel like a full game. These are full games. These are not only full games, these are great games. Doom, it's nominated for like Game of the Year or something. Well, no, I've got the list pulled up. Never mind. Doom isn't on the list. Also, the game came out last year, so I'm stupid. But Doom is obviously a massive success of a game. At Fallout 4, obviously, like, once again, there was some mixed reviews from Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, but still, like, that's a full experience, a big world. Like, that's a world that I would want to be virtual reality exploring,
No, yeah, I'm looking at the Doom VR right now. It looks pretty good.
It looks awesome. I don't know. I thought it just looked fucking dope.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be for the PS4 as well. And so you can use the DualShocks to move around.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so those are the three ranges of motion. Is that you can also play with just the
PlayStation VR aim controls assisted. So it's nice.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was thinking about it. The other thing too is, so I don't know why. Maybe it's just good advertising that I've watched way too many commercials on one versus the other. But I think I'm going to buy a Vive if I buy one. But damn, that Oculus Rift, I mean, I think it's $400 right now. Like, that's an insanely good price. I think the Vive is still $600. Looks like it is, yeah. But, like, that... I don't know. That... At least $400. Like, that's getting down to a pretty reasonable price. And...
No, yeah.
I don't know. I've just been thinking about it a lot. I had a friend that brought over his Vive, and we played it 2 years ago. And it was just the coolest fucking thing ever. Like, it's really a technology that you just have to try.
Yeah, the only VR I tried was like the PlayStation 4's one, and it was decent, but nothing to write home about, to be honest.
It's pixelated too. That's the other thing, and the controls are shit.
Yeah, it was bad.
The cool thing about the other VR is that you set up motion control cameras around the room. If you remember, we were playing with the PlayStation controller. We were playing Rush of Blood, Mike, and occasionally the controller would just like not catch your arm right, and you would be like aiming at your own face or something, or you'd be like aiming to the side and your arm would be super jagged. Like, that doesn't happen when you're playing Rift or Vive, because they have those 3 motion cameras to always know exactly where at least in 2 spots to triangulate it. It always knows where the controllers are.
The main reason why I kind of want it is because Elite and Dangerous, that space game I told you about, also supports VR, and you can just like look around your ship and all that. I'm like, I kind of want that.
And
I kind of want that badly.
That would be such a cool game too, because that's an atmospheric game. Like, the games that I thought were the coolest in VR weren't like there's like that one where you like kill zombies. I mean, there's a ton of games where you kill zombies. Yeah. But it's called like Project. I don't know. I
think I know what you're talking about. But there's like thousands, like there's 1,000 VR games, like cheap VR games. I mean, you can go on Steam and just type in VR, you'll get like 10,000 games now.
Yeah, but like the coolest ones that I thought were the atmospheric ones. There's the tilt brush, I think is what it is, and that was the coolest fucking thing ever. Like, just drawing in a 3D environment. Oh man, it was unbelievable. Like, drawing something in the air. My friend did something where he stood in a circle, or he stood in one spot, and then he wrote in the air and just kept turning to the right as he wrote. And he had this whole paragraph that was pretty much a cone around him. And it was a cool idea because like you couldn't read the words unless you were standing in that exact spot. Like, you could stand anywhere in the room, but you saw this cone of words, and the only place where it actually made sense is right exactly where he wrote it. And I thought that was it's so stupid to describe, but it was just one of the coolest experiences.
No, yeah, it's definitely a well-developed technology, and it's just getting better, which is nice.
Yeah. And lastly, too, is like, this is absolutely something that I do want to support. I mean, like, I feel bad. I want virtual reality to become a common thing, and how can I say that and not support the technology, you know? Like,
no, yeah,
I've got this massive list of games, but at the same time I just keep telling myself, like, as much as I want to like VR and keep saying like, oh, it's awesome, it's looking great, I still haven't pulled the trigger myself. Like, I need to be that change, you know? I'm gonna seriously think about it in the next like month or two, with Christmas coming up and all that. Like, I think it's worth seeing if there's any good deals, seeing, you know, if any specifically deals on games, and then you know, if anything does catch my attention, if there's a good bundle. I know there was a good one for Rift, but I'm waiting for that fucking Vive bundle. If they've got one, I might pull the trigger. I don't know. It looks so fucking cool.
No, I totally agree. It looks amazing.
Okay, so picking between the two, Mike, do you have a preference between the Vive or the Oculus Rift?
I really don't know what the difference is. Like, I couldn't tell you, even if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, I mean, the thing is, like, the Vive's the one that has the 3 cameras, right?
And, well, the Oculus has 2... I'll have to look it up. I know the Oculus Rift is a whole lot easier to set up, is what people have mentioned.
Yeah, I think the Oculus doesn't really have like a camera. It's just, there's really kind of just like one camera in front of you, which seems like much simpler. But once again, like, you know, with the Vive you have 3, but the problem is then you have more chances of things breaking. And what I've learned with buying my new laptop, if getting the top of the line that's brand new, is that even though it's brand new, it means it's also still needs more work and it's not going to be perfect. You have to let things, be developed and find what's wrong with it. So just like I see the Vive just running into more issues with the Vive than with the Oculus.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that the Oculus Rift has game exclusives versus the Vive doesn't. The Oculus can play anything, anywhere. If a game is on VR, you can play it on Oculus Rift. If you have a Vive, though, you're limited in some senses, although I'm not exactly sure what those senses are.
And I think you also need less space with the Oculus Rift than you need with the Vive, too. But once again, I think that if the Vive... once again, though, the trade-off, though, is that if you do have a Vive, like if you do end up getting the Vive and like everything does end up working, I'm pretty sure it does outperform the Oculus Rift then. But then again, but if one thing breaks, there's more things that can break with the Vive. Unlike with the Oculus Rift, there's less things that can break on it.
I don't know about
and,
that.
There's
like,
also
what do you mean?
More exclusives. Well, like I said, there was like 3 sensors for the Vive, and then like the Oculus Rift really only has 2 or something like that. Let's see. Let's take a look at the gear. Let me go over the gear. Ready PCs, accessories. Because I think the Oculus Rift just has 1 sensor. Everything you need to touch right here. Yeah, it comes with 1 sensor in the end. Yeah, he has just 1.
Okay, so I hate to just like read an excerpt offline here, but I think that this is interesting. So, I mean, as long as you're cool with it, this might explain kind of the difference between the two.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. I'd like to know more.
Okay, so there was to give some context, there was a poll online, and people chose the Vive. It was like a 60% to a 30-something%. And the guy says, why did you choose the Vive? And this guy responded pretty lengthy, but decently. He said, the Rift and the Vive both have their pros and their cons, and the comparison debate has been done to death already. So here's my copy and paste take as I own both of them. So this guy owns both VR headsets, so that's a pretty unbiased opinion. Price is now a significant factor following the Oculus price reduction, being that it used to be $600 as well, and now it's only $400. So it's $200 less than the Vive, is what he's getting at.
Yeah.
He says, the price is a factor, but it's not necessarily a determining one. It makes sense to choose the Vive if your choice is driven by above average or large room scale, robust tracking, not wanting USB cables snaking everywhere. You plan on early adoption of eye tracking, wireless and tracked peripherals. You're considering motion stimulation and want the native motion cancellation. You wear glasses or need greater adjustability for eye issues, or if you have a philosophical concern about Facebook and user data. Says choose Oculus if your choice is driven by a lower price, included audio, refined design, slightly larger sweet spot, and slightly less screen door effect, and if you want native freebie exclusives, or if you never plan on using tracked controllers. Oh, so tracked controllers, I guess, are kind of a big thing here. The Rift really benefits from a third sensor for room scale, but be aware it does not play nice with all USB ports or cables. Plus, the USB peripherals like wheels, pedals, wheels and pedals may complicate the USB bandwidth issues. So if you have like multiple accessories plugged in, I guess it might like start to lag down your system. I think is what he's getting at.
Interesting.
But once again, he's like, from the sounds of it, is that the tracking is so much more complicated and impressive with the Vive. So he continues, the Vive controllers are great at stimulating things, such as guns and swords, while touch is better at stimulating hands. Personally, I prefer the Vive haptics and the Oculus positional audio, but their respective counterparts are fine and not a deal breaker. According to this data source, less than 2% of Rift owners, being 4 cameras, experience comparative tracking with the Vive, and even then only reach those comparative figures over a much smaller tracked volume of less than 8 square meters, with the average being only 3.3 square meters. He says, while the Vive, in comparison, the Vive Average is much more substantial, 5.7 square meters, and can go out to an official 12 square meters. So Vive offers a much larger playing area, I guess is what he's getting at. As per the data, the Rift really benefits from the third sensor for room scale so much that it is really a no-brainer for Rift room scale. He says, I do a lot of public demos, and I've had thousands of users. In my experience, he's had thousands of users. Okay. In my experience, there are far greater differences between individual users and use cases than there are between Rift and Vive themselves. As a consumer, you really can't go wrong with either the Rift or the Vive HMD for their first-generation consumer PC VR. Both will be suspended, but that's at least a year or more to come. The best thing is to try them both, preferably back-to-back, and then choose what suits you best. So, actually, that guy makes a pretty good argument. I mean, if I was going to set up my VR headset, it would probably be in my room, and I'm definitely not going to be doing 12 square meters. Like, I might genuinely consider an Oculus Rift, and if I'd be saving $200, well, shit, I mean, I might make that purchase, like, in the next 2 weeks or something.
I mean, you got the computer that can run it, so which is nice.
Yeah, it's more just the game backlog.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so that's. I guess I was just curious.
No, it was a good review. And I think I might go with the Vive in the end because I kind of like the wireless part of it. Because I wouldn't want cords just going everywhere. But once again,
it's not wireless. It just has more wire length.
Wire length, okay. And I guess it wouldn't really matter because then after you're done playing with it, you just put it back, back in its box or something like that. So
yeah, and you definitely, I mean, in the place that you're in right now, Mike, you definitely have a much larger scale to work with area. So
no, yeah, I do.
That would be interesting. At the same time, I know that there's a lot of people that they've been out for a while. I bet we could find used ones online for cheaper or something. Maybe at least $100 cheaper or so. So.
No, yeah, for sure, but I think me and Lauren are planning on getting a Nintendo Switch, though, so she really wants to get some Mario games and Mario Kart games.
Oh, awesome, man. You and I haven't tried the LAN
online yet?
Well, I've tried the online, but specifically the LAN, just person to person. Like, it'd be interesting to see how quick that setup is,
Yeah, because she's been really hankering to play those games, so we're thinking about getting a Nintendo Switch, so I think we're going to hold off the VR for a bit and get the Switch first.
Sure.
Because honestly, I've been hearing a lot of good things about the Switch, even from PC players. Like, a lot of them are saying it's just fun to play off the Switch. It feels good to play on it and all that. I'm like, damn, kind of want it. Plus, I want to play the Zelda game,
Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
Breath of the Wild. I want to play that, so.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I like mine. I definitely don't use it enough, but, I mean, if you had one as well, it'd be fun to... it'd be fun to have 4 controllers officially and just come over and, do the plug-and-play or whatever. That'd be cool. That's the whole appeal of it, is just play with multiple friends.
Yeah, and Lauren really wants to get into games. She's been really hounding me lately to get into games, so I'm like, that'd be a perfect thing to wean her into games with.
Yeah.
Nintendo's a great friendly system to start off with, so
definitely. All right, well, we can move on here, and we can get into games coming out. Honestly, I didn't find anything. We kind of front loaded this podcast because I couldn't find shit, so this is now officially our longest podcast.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised actually how long this is going.
But yeah, Mike, if you wanted to run through the ones that you found, like I said, I've got nothing. I was expecting this to be a shorter one, but I guess we're just really fucking good at rambling about nothing.
Yeah, sure. Let me grab my first one off the list. One of them is called 7. This one actually came out last Friday, the 4th of December. No, not the 4th of December. It came out the 1st of December. 7 days. Let's see. 7 the days long gone. Sorry, I was saying it that way because I was typing it in my search bar.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it came out December 1st. It's already out. It does have mixed reviews, but here's the basic description of the game. It's called Seven: The Days Long Gone is an open world isometric role-playing game in which you play as a Teriel, a master thief sent on a mission that will shake the foundations of the Federal Empire. Free roam across the vibrant prison island of Pe and choose whether to help or exploit its many citizens. And it looks like a very interesting stealth game that just the motion of the game looks really good. The movement of the camera looks awesome and all that stuff. The style is nice, and one of the developer of this game also developed The Witcher. He's like an ex-developer of The Witcher.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so it looks really interesting. The world looks very beautiful, and just how they have the combat system looks pretty interesting. I am worried about the mixed reviews, so I'm going to get more in depth in it. But I just came across this recently. So that's 7. That game is actually out already. So that's nice. After the last games I've been bringing up that didn't really have any release date or were pushed back by a month. The next game I came across was called Riot: Civil Unrest. And that is when you either play as a group of rioters or you play as the riot police. And the main goal is to just either control the riot or break out the riot even further. And let me just give here's the game's description. As a civil crisis deepens and inequality tears the very fabric of society, the discontentment of the masses manifests itself in a violent public disturbance and civil disorder. Play as the police or the angry horde as riot civil unrest places you in some of the world's most fractious disputes. And so just like each side has their own abilities, and the main goal is to either control the riot or to have the riot break out.
This looks super cool, Mike. I didn't see this one when I was going through my list, but I really like the pixel graphics in this.
I had to put a big footnote, though. It is early access game, but it's one of those looks very interesting. It looks very nice and has a very interesting concept. So it kind of looks like an RTS game. So I'd really like to see how it goes and see if what type of story there is. And then I have another game called that's Riot Civil Unrest. That's coming out December 6th, which is a Wednesday. Let's see. And then the next game I came across that seemed kind of like the only reason why it interests me is because of that one board game we played that we talked about our last podcast called The Box, and that is just because there's very little description of the game. The game doesn't look well designed, but still has some nice quality to it. And it's called HJ Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, and here's the basic description: horror jail, Professor Dr. Tribu's little hell on Earth. Your sole purpose in single-player action horror game to survive this horrible prison, but you're not alone. And so that's all it says there. And so this is about this game. This is all it describes is that Professor Dr. Tribus is a psychopathic doctor who tried to find immortality, decides to sacrifice inmates with a magic book. He did experiments in prisoners with a permission obtained from Ministry of Justice. Prisoners are not the slightest idea of what will happen to them, but they accept parole. Your goal in the game, despite the danger to escape of this prison. Wow, this is actually horribly written when you try to read it out loud. Holy crap. It might take my thing of saying games I might play, but still. Your goal in the game, despite the dangers, is to escape the prison. I'm just kind of rewording it so it makes sense, by the way. There's only one fact that you know, and that is that you're not alone here. Now you start the game as the only survivor, and you'll need to just run and escape by opening the doors of the prison. That are locked individually. Remember, do not look behind you and run. So it just seems like you kind of just understand more about the game as you play. So after just playing The Box with you, it kind of piqued my interest a little bit. But after trying to read that paragraph out loud, I'm like, wow, this guy doesn't know how to write.
Yeah, looking at the trailer, looking at the screenshots, the game looks pretty enough. Speaking of which, before I get into it, HJ Sacrifice, from your description, HJ stands for Horror Jail. So that's what the HJ is.
Okay.
Yeah. So horror, jail, sacrifice. But looking at it, it looks like an updated version of Slender almost. Not to say that the games look exactly similar, but yeah, it's very uh cloudy with what, or it's not showing everything that it is, I guess. Like the trailer is just, the scenery. You don't see any monsters. You don't see like the character's hands. You don't see if you have weapons. So I'm a little cautious of this one. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, although the atmosphere looks good, it could it could still just be like a walking simulator or something. Like,
No, yeah, so, that's like why I'm hesitant about it.
yeah, I'd be
I
wary
didn't
about it.
write the name of one thing, but someone made a mod for Half-Life 2, and it's coming out this week. I can't find it anymore for some reason, but it's a mod. And what you play as, do you remember when you play Half-Life 2? You know how when you're on the train and your buddy helps you escape from the security guards?
Yeah.
All that stuff. He pretends to be one of them. You play as him, and it's like just the story of what happens to him after, in episode 2, the first part 1. And so it's just a mod though. It's free, and it's coming out this week. I can't find it though anymore on Steam. But the last thing I want to bring up though is there's a game that was on early access for a long time, but it finally is no longer early access. I don't know if I'll be end up playing it, but I like giving designers who go into early access and finally come out though, and it's called Hello Neighbor, and that comes out December 8th. This has been on early access for a long time, but it's finally being a full release. And what the objective is that you're you just moved into a new neighborhood, and you notice that your neighbor's acting strange. So what you end up doing is breaking into his house, and the only enemy in this is that neighbor. And let me just read the description because it actually does a really good job explaining it. Hello Neighbor is a stealth horror game about sneaking into your neighbor's house and figuring out what he's hiding in the basement. Play against an advanced AI that learns from your actions. So it's you have to sneak in his house, and if he finds you, he grabs you, and you end up back at your house. But the next time you go into his house, he's added more stuff to it, more security. He'll maybe sometimes add security cameras where you snuck in at. He'll add bear traps. He'll do some patrols in some different areas then. And as you progress more and more, he'll add more things to it, and just like his house will get more and more crazy like. And it's I've seen the early access play of it. It's a pretty good game. And like once again though, I just want to give it major credits just for being a game that was in early access and actually becoming no longer early access.
Yeah, I remember Hello Neighbor looked really cool. At the same time, so I've got no reason to make this this parallelism, but Hello Neighbor and We Happy Few, if you remember that game, like
Yeah.
they both gave me the same vibe, and We Happy Few apparently is just tanking hard with its pre-release, so that's the only reason I'm a little concerned, but otherwise the game sounds really cool. It sounds like a roguelike. It sounds...
Actually, the problem with We Happy Few is that it got bought out by a major publisher, and so now they're changing a bunch of stuff into it, and that's why it's taking so hard. Like, they're adding some stuff into it that's not making sense, and people are feeling like after the publisher bought them that the developers are things are changing from what was originally promised to them, and so that's why that's also tanking now.
Okay.
I forgot who bought it though, but yeah, like I know exactly that game, and that game looked really fun, and I'm hoping it still is. But there's some huge controversies in it now after they got bought out before the game was out by a publisher, so people are just kind of worried about it. But yeah, those are the games that I found out, for this week. Once again, that's 7, The Days Long Gone, Riot, Civil Unrest, H-Days Sacrifice. Please go into that carefully. And then Hello Neighbor.
All right. I've got nothing else to add. I don't know if you did.
No, that's really it. But we do have our next week for top 5 is going to be handheld games.
Yep, top 5 handheld games. So that could be phone games. It could be, playing Game Boy in the backseat of your parents' car when you were young. It could be, I mean, if you own like a PSP,
Any
a
game
Vita,
that you can hold in your
3DS.
hand and play.
Yep.
I'd like to know it. And now that, but I'm drawing the line of, those modded, PS1s that people made into handhelds, or like Xboxes that made into handhelds. Those don't
All right.
count.
What about let's clear this up as well before we sign off here. What about Nintendo Switch?
I
Because I do own a
would
Switch.
say that does not count. I'm not going to count it with this list because it is technically a console that can be handheld, but they're not handheld games.
I'll agree with you to not include it, but for an entirely separate reason. I'll agree to not include it because you don't own a Nintendo Switch yet. Otherwise, I think it's totally fair play. I think the handheld feature is a big selling point of it, but I understand it is kind of a modern thing, and honestly, I haven't used it handheld. I typically just hook it up to my TV. So I say I won't include any Nintendo Switch games in my picks.
Well, we'll discuss then. I would actually get in discussion about that then, about it being a handheld or not then, and stuff.
All right, we can talk about
It'd be
that
kind
next
of
week.
fun little thing. No, yeah, I'd like to talk about that next week. Be kind of fun little conversation. And I think that's it then for our podcast then. Thank you for stopping by. I really enjoyed this one. Shut up, dude. I was having a good moment.
You stay classy, Los
good.
Angeles. What is San Diego?
You just go and shit on it, dude. Thanks a lot.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm Mike. Thanks for listening.
I'm Ron Burgundy. Bye.
God damn it. All right, we're done. That's it. End the podcast. Ron Burgundy, you little shit.